I mean,
like in the river, bobber fishing.
Yeah, I'm planning on announcing that. That's probably all I really talk about. I don't want to push it too.
like 12 to 25.
We're live, boys.
But a long one.
Gotcha.
Oh, what's up? Yo, what's up? Ooh.
Sorry we're late, guys. Cameron was late. He didn't get here on time.
Does anybody out there believe that?
No.
Does anybody out there believe
It's not 8:05.
It's 9:05.
It's 7:03.
You don't know where Isaac's at.
That's true, Isaac. I don't know where you're at.
Mountain time.
What's up, everyone? Thanks for tuning in. You guys know the drill. Make sure you guys drop a comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Share this out there. Let's get a bunch of people in here tonight. We're going to be talking a lot about float fishing, bank fishing, winter steelhead. Huge shout out to Stevens Marine.
Carp.
Bank fishing, I meant.
Boat fishing carp.
Oh, what?
That's what we're doing tonight.
Boat fishing.
We're not doing
carp.
bank fishing for
You're
seal.
stupid.
Boat fishing for
You're
carp.
dumb. You're dumb.
See if anyone's paying attention out there. Just kidding.
Long.
How you doing, Larry? What's up, Dustin?
Why does Brandon Trigger say long day for Cameron Black?
Oh, because we put on a pretty massive hunt this morning.
I swear to God, dude, I don't know how you do it, bro.
I am tired. I ain't gonna lie.
You're so hard, dude.
I'm
Such a
so-
hard duck hunter.
You're such a cool duck hunter, dude. He's ready to leave
You listen
already.
to
I've
these
been here
guys,
5
man,
minutes.
Like, this is what I deal with on the daily. I don't even know why.
Brandon, you really are a cool duck hunter, though. But Cameron,
I just watched the Christmas tree video and it rocked. Yes, it did.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen that, you need to check it out. It is hilarious. Jordan cuts down a Charlie Brown Christmas tree, turns it into a fishing pole, and then goes and catches fish on it.
cuts it out of Marlin's backyard too.
He steals it from my property. Still filing a claim on that.
Cameron, have you jilted anybody on the river lately? No?
What the hell?
Not that I know of. I haven't really been fishing that much either.
You know what the thing is, guys, about if you hear any of those sort of rumors or anything, the thing that's funny about it is, why would we ever do that? We know that we have addicted fishing. We know that we have our brand. We know there's a lot of people.
There is that guy that's like, oh, I casted over his lines and ran him off the river. I'm like, you did nothing of the sort there, bud. I think we're going to have a conversation next time I see you up there, but I'm going to like to do that in person. But
we usually are very friendly on the river.
Yeah.
If you see us on the river, make sure you say hi.
Always say hi.
Yeah. We're not trying to start anything with people out there, and it wouldn't be beneficial to us or our brand if we did. So if you hear rumors like that,
Except
they're
I'm going
false.
to film like 10 videos up there.
Also, if you hear rumors about us like poaching or
All the time.
illegally
Oh, God.
fishing, or I saw some stupid rumors about going at. It's funny, guys were saying I was fishing some river in the Puget Sound that I've never even laid eyes on. I've never even been there in my entire life.
Damn you, Marlin.
And they're like, "Oh, he got caught," and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I guess I did." It was
We'll wait
some
for that
dude
one.
wearing an addicted hat.
We'll wait for that one to come true.
Yeah.
Which it won't because, duh.
Just because they have an addicted hat on doesn't mean it's us.
Joking about the word he made up in the podcast. Jilted. Oh, yes.
Oh.
Yeah, jilted is a word.
See what you started?
Yeah,
dude?
look at that. Oh, my gosh. We're trying to keep it
Express
positive here, PFA. Yeah, we hear you, buddy. These guys don't know what jilted means. Clint's always jilted.
I was just trying to
Clint is always a jilted character.
I was just trying to let people, and this is just common sense, but don't believe everything you see on the internet.
Oh, what? Oh, wait. Or don't believe everything you see on major news networks. Okay.
Or that.
Or that. Moving on. Thank you, PFA. Thank you, PFA.
Hey.
Look at what you started.
All right, guys, we're going to give away a Filet-Away fish mat tonight. So if you guys want an opportunity to win Filet-Away fish mats, shout out to them. They're one of our sponsors. This is a really badass mat for your filleting fish. And if you think it's too small, what we like to do is just get two of them, and we'll lay two right side by side. It's perfect for filleting your fish. And I think they have a deal on their website where if you buy, you get discounts if you buy two. So we're going to give one of these away tonight. All you guys got to do, smash that thumbs up button, share it out to your family and friends, and then drop a comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Make sure you only let us know one time from this point forward. Don't be spamming it.
Don't be spamming it.
Share.
Looks like we got almost 500 of you in here already. So once you guys share this out there and thumbs up it a bunch, it's going to get to 1,000, I feel like.
That's right. What's up, Aaron's
Yeah,
Trout
we hit 1,000,
Fishing?
huh?
We gave away the extra.
What's up, Hondo? Chris? Ellenberg, St. On Yakima. Holy crap, Aberdeen.
We need more pop-off videos.
I would agree with that.
You see that?
I want to watch more
I
pop-off
see that.
videos.
These guys are begging, dude.
More pop-off videos in the works.
Yes, sir. Super chat from Blake Leon. Thank you so much. No question. That's all right. Merry Christmas all and a Much better New Year to each of us. Yes, Dean.
God, let's
Much
have
better, buddy. Can't wait to get fishing with you again, sir.
Shout out to Dean, man. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Every
Every
week.
single week you come through with the super chats. Means a lot. Thank you.
Dean, you're the man, buddy.
Maybe I'll actually catch him a fish one time.
Yeah, maybe. Would you do that for him, please?
No. That's terrible. I need to work on that.
Bag.
Thank you, Dean. Merry Christmas, East Fishing. Yes.
Ask him.
Oh, we got some people in Vegas.
We need the Popov gloves. I would agree
Can you
with
believe
that.
I don't have gloves on right now? I just took them off right before I came on, so I didn't get harassed.
I got the
Next month.
pop-off gloves in works, guys. You stay tuned on that.
Aberdeen.
It may be coming to fruition.
Max out. I need to go check that out.
And tackle boxes. I've been getting
Tri-Cities,
a
Ashley
lot of
Springer.
people want us
Thanks
to
for
make
tuning in.
tackle
Newburgh.
boxes.
Bonneville.
Central New York.
Yeah.
Newburgh in the house.
Vegas.
Bonneville.
Yaki Vegas? What's Yaki Vegas? Jason.
We got
Oh,
people.
yeah, come
Oh,
on.
dude, it's all over the map.
we're
We got
spreading it
freaking
out.
Michigan. I just saw Michigan from
Redding,
Charlotte.
California.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
Lake Taps.
Stricker. He's on his treadmill.
Attaboy.
Getting fit before the
Oh,
holidays
boy.
there, strict dog.
Is that what is that?
What is that? 100 rubles?
100 rubles from Russia.
From Russia with love.
Yes.
Thanks for the tutorials. What is
my
that?
brother.
Marat? I apologize, man. Marat? What the last name though?
Just I wouldn't even.
Appreciate it.
He's gonna butcher your last
I'm
name.
not even gonna try.
But
not to be
The
disrespectful.
one that should know it is
really appreciate the super chat.
Come on, man.
And hey, we want to come to Russia. You guys got some
Oh.
epic rivers over there.
Yeah, you have to go like steelhead fishing like for a scientific study.
Yeah.
Then you get to go steelhead
Yeah.
fishing.
I want to go to my homeland.
I'm down.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's where you're from.
Well, that's where my dad. Yeah.
Oh,
My
cool.
dad's side, yeah.
That's cool. George Ash with another super chat. Merry Christmas, George. Thank you for the super chat, man.
Merry
George is
Christmas.
another one, always coming through every week with super chats. George, we appreciate it.
Thank you, George.
Man, we got people literally. It's like all over the country tonight.
Yeah.
Clint, how many? We got almost 600 of you watching. I don't believe Pacific Northwest full stop.
North Korea. I don't think so.
I don't think so, bud.
Just
They're not letting you chill and watch a live feed.
Kim Jong-un ain't putting up with that, bro.
They're like executing people because they listen to the wrong radio station.
North
what if
Pole,
they're
I like
fishermen?
it, dude.
what if their leader's like a fisher guy? He's watching. What if that's him?
Tuning in
Shout out
from-
to him if he is, but I'm not necessarily cool with him executing.
What is that,
Robert
Robert?
McGoffey tuning in from New York. Our winter steelhead season is in full swing. Hoping to see some center pinning episodes from you guys soon. Well,
Dude, we are.
I think we're
We
gonna
have-
try.
the
I think
plan
we
has
still
been
need-
made.
Yeah.
The
No,
plan has been made.
in contest, dude.
The
Bring it into the
plan
house.
has been made.
I
Thank you much for the
genius
super
idea.
chat. And Tim Ketron Jr., $4.99 super chat. Thank you much. You guys, as we know, we are going to be talking some bank fishing. We're letting a few other guys get tuned in here. This is always a very popular one with you guys. You guys asked for it last week, so we're going to do it. And that's why Nick's in the house. Jordan's out visiting family for the holidays and catching big steelhead.
Yeah.
He got some big ones today.
He's back in Idaho.
Son of a.
He is going to film tomorrow, though. He's going to film a vlog all by himself just with his GoPro chest cam. So you guys will get to see at least one of his little adventures while he's gone.
Yeah, but Tyler, but he's vicious, though, so you got to watch it.
Don, go Blazers. Yes, I'm with you, brother.
Are they playing again?
They start tonight. Yeah, they do. The season begins tonight.
What's your team? Do you have one for basketball?
Lakers.
Lakers. I should know that.
I've been a Laker fan since
That's
I was
right,
like
you have
7
been.
years
That's
old.
what all Laker fans say. Oh, since I was born, I was a Laker.
I'll show you pictures of me wearing jerseys.
No, I
dude,
believe
when I was
you.
like 7.
I believe you because you are kind of neurotic about things.
Great Lake Steelhead video, Ian. Oh,
I went through all the horrible years of Kobe just shooting the ball and then losing every freaking day.
Charlie,
But I
what's
still
going on,
watched
brother?
him.
Mr. Lip River, the PNW sucks. Yes, it does. Don't visit. There's nothing to do out here. It's terrible. It rains every day.
Fishing's
Like,
terrible, too.
don't bother. We have no real steelhead here. I mean, steelhead here.
No real. No real steelhead.
I'm just messing with you. Thanks for tuning in, though. Come to Michigan, Brady.
Go, a lot of people tuning in.
No.
What's going on?
Yeah, so what we've been doing, and we're going to try to do this at the end of every live feed from now on, is we're going to ask you guys. We're going to poll you guys, and whatever's the majority of the amount of the comments is what's going to decide what the subject that we talk about next week, as long as it's not something stupid. Like they're going to, the majority of the comments are going to be like,
I want to watch Marlin fish beads.
No, you
Like
don't.
our podcast.
No, you don't.
Brianna Piazza, tuning in from Mount Vernon, just rescued a GSD pup who wants to be like little. Awesome. Hope for some gear for dogs to rep like patches. Like
Jordan's been
some
talking to
little
me about that
patches.
because Little has a vest now that he wears, a Carhartt vest. He's been rocking it. Yeah, in all the episodes.
Oh
So.
God. You got addicted patches on it yet?
We may no, we don't.
Oh,
That's a good idea.
That's a miss. We got to get that done. Thank you so much for the super chat. Watching from Tillamook, setting up my poll as I'm watching. Also tell Jordan to check his emails or DMs. The Addicted Boys rock. Happy holidays. Thank you so much, Omar.
Thank you, Omar.
We appreciate that, man.
Danny Alexander said, "How are these new regulations in Washington affecting you all? Hope you have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year."
Thank you, Danny.
Danny Alexander, just to answer that real fast, since Jordan's not here and Nick doesn't fish Washington, it's not affecting my area, but as with all steelheaders, it's affecting everybody. And unfortunately, we've got some stuff in the work that we're working out with some people, and I just can't. I'm gonna leave it at that. We're not sleeping at the wheel. We're not paying attention. We're building.
Just because it doesn't affect us now does not mean.
Well,
it won't
yeah,
affect
right.
us
And I
later.
mean by that is like, yeah, I mean it's affecting you guys. Well, it's actually affecting everybody.
Yeah.
It's going to affect
It's gonna
us too,
affect
and it is
everybody.
affecting us. We should all be in it together.
Yep, absolutely.
So, and Jay Calvin, thank you. He says, "Merry Christmas, guys. ADX crew has got it down. Thanks for all you guys do. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for watching our videos. We'll keep it up, man." Talking about that real quick, though, Cam, I don't know if we probably aren't very prepared on this, but I don't know when that talking point is coming up, but people need to go make their voice.
I mean,
this is the most important time. If we ever ask you to make your voice heard, this subject needs to be they need to go call in and make their voice heard.
The state's once again tiptoeing into broodstock program on the Skycomas River. I'm just going to say a river name. Shoot me now.
Kind of have to right here.
Right now,
this is
and the bottom line
need.
is I mean, we're staring at problems in the coast, like the Puget Sound fisheries collapsed under, let's just call it, struggles with management and pollution, environmental factors, but really struggles with management, not willing to move. So the wild fish people, nicely as I can, shut that down. So everyone moves to the coast. Everyone moves to go to get hatchery fish, like on the Cowlitz River and these rivers that had big hatchery. Well, they took that away, and then everyone went to those, and now they're having problems there. And when they shut those down, they're coming to your backyard, and they're coming to your backyard, but now they're trying to implement a wild broodstock program. They're kind of like tepidly tiptoeing into it. I think it should be region-wide, but that's my opinion. And the Wild Fish Conservancy, these guys are going to go after them and try to sue. And it's like, where do they? I mean, now they're threatening lawsuits, and so the state has opened up some talking periods. And yeah, we need to be all hands on deck. Like you said, we're a little unprepared for it. We're working on our statement right now, HWC. It's just
basically what's going on is I can guarantee you when this public comment thing happens. And we'll try to figure out the information and get it out to you guys as soon as possible. But a lot of these wild fish guys are going to call into that. They are going to get to speak their piece.
All 50 of them are going to, and all 100,000 of you aren't.
The problem is it doesn't matter that it's 50 of them, because when they do it, they are so strategic about it. And if you listen to those guys talk on those calls, they are very convincing. So the only way we are convincing more is if we get so many people that are in there that really speak their passion about support for broodstock. We can get this pushed through. We can get the state to do it.
One of the campaigns that I want to start in 2021 more than anything else is we've got about 15,000 of you guys that have signed up under HWC, and my goal is to make that 100,000 before the end of the year.
And it's attainable.
It's attainable. We're going to do it. Like if we don't, as far as I'm concerned, we lose steelhead fishing as we know it. And guess what? You have a nice little program down there. You don't think that they're going to come after that, and they already have.
Well, no, they already have.
And it's like this has got to stop. I want to shut their sponsors down. I'm going to shut their cash flow down. They starved the freaking orcas in the Puget Sound, and they have crushed our steelhead and our local economies.
Yep.
Period. End of discussion. Prove me wrong.
And they continue to keep doing it by, I've said it time and time again, suing the state is so counterproductive to saving these wild steelhead.
Because
it's so counterproductive.
Because what do? They sue the state over a broodstock program, or they put up a front about it. They get it canceled, or they remove those hatchery fish, and they walk away.
Yep.
They're done with it. Yep. They're happy.
They won.
Cool.
They call it wins on their websites.
We win, and now we walk away. The tackle shops that suffered, the orcas that they starved, the local economies and the fisheries, and I mean,
not to mention,
and then also
it has been proven that these fish help these rivers.
Right.
It's not hurting them.
But the biggest part of it is that's most dramatic is that in turn, when they remove those programs, where do people go fishing? Where there's good wild steelhead.
Yep.
I mean, in a roundabout way, they're actually like causing the anglers to go there, and I mean, it's like
they're putting more pressure on them.
putting more pressure on. How stupid do you have to be?
Yeah.
And if you had,
But that's why we need 100,000 here. So end of that.
But that's the
Damn
thing.
it! Now you got me all going.
I
don't
know,
even care
but
anymore. Let's talk about bank fishing.
It's very important. So.
Because you guys all need a place to catch them.
I just know that public comment period is coming up,
course
and
it
I've
is.
already seen some of these wild fish groups putting out all this ammo to basically speak against
Right.
brood stocks, and we need to all get on there and tell them that we support it.
Yep.
And
So.
it's very. But here's the other thing, sportsmen, and to our fault,
That's pretty
we're
fun.
very unorganized as a whole. There's some things that are happening now because of the closures that are really good, really, I think, positive direction things.
Yeah,
We're getting a
that
lot of
joke's
notice
old.
from a lot of legislators. There's a lot of things in the pipes, so it's very good. And I don't think this one is. I don't think between them suing for against that broodstock program and the blanket closures in Region 6, I don't think they want us to go away. They want us to stop
Nope.
talking about it. They want us to forget, and I don't think that's happening this time.
No.
Not at all.
No.
Use your voice.
So it's time to play ball. We
All right,
some
Clint,
super
let's
chats.
pick a winner for this.
Okay.
Pick a winner for this here.
Here we go. And we had some super chats too that I think are still up that we need to get as well. Anyways, guys. Merry Christmas, Matthew.
Pre-read your super chats.
Steven.
I know, I pinned it and I took it down.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Just
Don't worry about it.
Susslick?
What?
Forks Washington. Is that our winner? You said, oh, you said you pinned it and you took it down. I'm like, I'm reading his name right now.
no.
Steven, congratulations. You won the filet away fish mat. Please email orders at addicted.fishing.
Make sure you include your
Thank
name, your address, and your ship. Yeah, make sure you include your name, your shipping address. Let us know you want a fillet away, and we'll get it shipped out to you.
Gonna love it. Gonna love it.
Connor, oh my God, I won the X Rod. Thanks, Marlon. Not yet, you did. Well, how many people do you have on tonight?
We already
We're not
gave
giving
away.
away another one.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not?
Oh, I don't even have any.
I'll give you away this reel if we get over 1,000. Here you go. This reel winner.
Cam's truck.
Oh.
Cam's truck. Not Cam's truck. Here's the reel if you guys want to drive it over 1,000. There you go.
Just the ITX.
You're not
A picture.
giving away my reel.
I am giving away Marlon's reel.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. These guys won't do it.
You can't even get that reel anywhere in the Northwest. You can't buy a 30 anywhere.
No, you can't.
I'm not giving away that reel. Sorry. I need it.
You
for-
tell them sorry,
Sorry,
Marlon.
guys.
You
How
tell
about
them.
you don't give
Marlon,
away my
you tell them
stuff?
All
sorry.
right, guys. We'll give you some marshmallows.
They won't get it up to 1,000. I have one at my house. I'll just give it to Marlon. But I'm giving away Marlon's reel.
We just gave away a fillet away, Matt.
Is that all we're doing then? What do you?
I'm trying to ban people in the comments. Would you just relax?
Give me the super chats.
God.
There was 2 super chats we did not get, Clint. They're up there. They're still tagged on the right upper right side.
Well, there's a reason for it. I think.
There we go.
No.
Pass. It's inappropriate.
There we go. What type of wading boot soles do you recommend for the death slime covering rocks in local trips? Do you ever get
There's
your boat?
nothing. There's nothing. Not very often. There's nothing that works. I mean, no matter which way, if you go felt or you go studs or you go rubber, it's gonna kind of suck one way or the other. You're gonna.
Which one sucks the least?
I think
or
felt
less?
is probably the best on those slippery rocks, but you know, I don't know. That's all I use. So I don't really. I tried the rubber and I hated it because every time I got out of the boat and back in, I had big rocks sitting in my boat. And
Oh, they get in the treads and then
they
they
get in the
kick
treads,
into the
and
boat.
then if every time I have clients that have it, they get in and there's just big rocks and scratches the diamond plate.
Yeah.
It sucks.
I like studs, but I mean, even though like the rafts that I've owned and the one that I got now too, like it says you can wear studs in the boat, but I just imagine like after a lot of use,
Right.
it's probably not good. So I'd always stay away from studs, just use rubber.
I just probably
Felt's
wear
kinda
studs
weird.
when you go golfing.
Felt's kind of weird because like sometimes you can't even have felt on certain rivers too, so you gotta kind of watch that, make sure it's legal.
Yeah.
Yep. What do we got here?
Yeah, because there's a bunch of different regulations.
Give away the reel.
How about we go to
Sensitive
Cam's house and we start giving away all his stuff and see how he likes it? He
selling.
won't.
I would do that for you guys because I care about you guys.
Oh God,
You're such a
Shame.
fucking idiot.
Oh my gosh!
Soft spot.
You guys just saw Cam get me pushed to the absolute limit.
The absolute limit. He's triggered.
Oh God. Triggered.
Triggered. What are we talking about tonight?
We're talking about bank fishing for steelhead, bro.
Do you do that at all?
You don't do it much, right? You're in your drift boat the whole
No,
time.
I still do some bank fishing, but yeah, 90% of it when I'm out guiding, I'm in my drift boat.
You know, I think one thing first thing we want to talk about too, that bank fishing steelhead, like the way like a lot of times you're fishing your drift boat,
Right.
unless you're doing like laps through the
Right.
run.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't do a lot of plug pulling, do you? You're not
Very
doing
little anymore.
Do you get out much when you're on your like just pull to the bank and
It
then
just depends. Like water conditions is what kind of sets that. You know, if it's low water, we'll get out and we'll fish runs and stuff before I run the boat over it and things like that. But I try to stay in the boat as much as possible. You know, because you get a lot of people who can't be getting in and out of the boat as efficiently as some of us, or some people don't have waders and so on and so forth. So,
well, the state didn't care about that, by the way. But
yeah, right.
But
But
state,
you know, fishing from the boat and fishing from the bank,
it's the same
I'm
thing.
not changing my presentation. So
Yeah, that's what I was trying to allude to a little bit. So even though a lot of times, like, you know, we're in the boat and if you're anchor off to the side and you're fishing a technique and you're doing what you're doing, I mean, you might, if you're on the boat 5 feet up off the bank versus on the bank, you're still doing it the same way. You're still approaching it the same way.
the only advantage I think to being in the boat and standing on the floor of the boat is you're up higher, so you're able to mend your line a little bit better and fish a little more effectively.
What if I was on like a 20-foot cliff?
Well, then you can
like
mend
fishing?
really, really good.
Yeah, right.
You just
You don't even need to do anything. You just kind of hold your rod.
Come on.
down.
But what I'm trying to get at is, because I get a lot, I mean, you probably get it too.
Lots.
A lot of guys like, oh, I want to go, but I want to bank fish, or, you know, it's like, I tell them, it's like, look, I mean, we're using the raft or the drift boat as a means of transportation.
Get to holes.
Like, we're not doing like techniques that like we're back trolling bait or back trolling plugs. Like,
Right.
we're just going there, anchoring, and fishing it like we're doing it off the bank, whether it be bobber dogging, whether it be jig fishing, beat fishing, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Worms,
Casting,
all of
spinners.
it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So pretty universal. You can do them both. Pretty much. I mean, the only thing the advantage of a boat is going to be like, you know, separate from bank fishing would be plug pulling or, you know, maybe back balancing or something like that. But I don't do that for steelhead. So
Yeah.
not very often.
Do you think that works for steelhead?
Yes, actually, back years and years ago.
Damn it! I wanted you to say no so bad because I got the biggest argument with Jordan.
I know.
about
Well,
it.
I had this conversation with Jordan, and back in a long time ago when there would be real low water, summer steelhead fishing on the coast, we used to anchor in a couple of real small little slots right above them and back bounce just sand shrimp down into them. It worked great, but it was only 1 year, and I've never been able to replicate it since then. So
Yeah. Well, I can tell you Jordan's tried it a bunch, and I'm always like yelling at him when he's doing it. Because I'm like, dude, that isn't going to work. You're just ruining the other presentations. But he swears he's going to get him on it. He swears he's going to get him.
I
In
think
the
if
winter or the summer?
Winner.
I think you probably have more.
You get him?
Summertime, yeah.
Yeah, see, summertime. That's when I was.
I mean, it's like it's all situational.
When they're
there's
caked
still
in
a
like
fish.
right.
The 40-foot holes.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like when you have like those certain situations where you have steelhead that are, when you have, like I said, it doesn't happen too often, but there's times where you're going to catch summer steelhead 30 feet of water.
Yeah.
And we back bounce them because it's just like, well, I mean, I as well just put a little 2-ounce lead. Just,
Well, that's the same thing we're doing in those deeper
I mean,
holes.
but it's not a technique. Anyways, let's not get too.
Dang it.
This is
I
big.
wanted
know.
so right
But-
to be,
but, I mean, dude,
wanted
it's-
so much
so
to be
think-
right on
if
that.
you
So
really-
now
if you
Jordan
really
this summer's going to smash him doing that. He's going to laugh, make fun of me every day as you sit there back bouncing him.
It's
And
very
you won't back down 'cause you're
situational.
too stubborn.
It's very situational. Like I would. Anyways, we're here to talk about boat fishing.
Well, so he was doing it when he did his Idaho trip. And what the story came up is because he's sitting in the video and I
saw
like
it.
it's back bouncing and this dude's float fishing the guy
Catches
behind
one.
him and just gets one right behind Jordan as he's sitting there back bouncing.
I
So
saw
I'm like,
that.
see, why the heck were you back bouncing, dude? This guy's
Well,
freaking mopping you up.
you know,
Those steelhead,
fishing-
though, I would think you would have to have like. I mean, you got cold water, super pressured fish. A lot. I mean, those fish have seen a lot and been through a lot. I would have to think like those drifts and.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're just.
I'm
Yeah.
just
I don't
saying
know, that's the way I
that you know
envision it.
Jordan, and when he fishes, he likes to just go through the repertoire. I mean, he's throwing everything he has at him. If he don't get bit right away, he's casting everything. So,
Yeah.
or I'm on the other end of it. If I know something works, I'm going to keep fishing it until it doesn't work. You know, until someone else proves me wrong.
I think we need
That
another
doesn't
giveaway.
that doesn't happen too often though.
Yeah.
Did you bring some
See
rods
that.
and stuff to like actually like?
No, dude, I drove 4.5
To give
hours.
away or
Well,
to
no,
talk?
Cam did.
Oh,
To
he did.
like
I got a
talk
couple
about
stuff.
stuff.
I got a couple rods. We're gonna go through some of the basics with you guys tonight. What the hell are you doing?
Didn't even touch it.
What, are you gonna try to? Are you gonna give away my rod?
All
right, here's
I'm gonna
the
give
next
away
giveaway.
some. What?
For the question, you should have people, they know what Cameron has. Have them comment what they want Cameron to give away, and then we'll pick someone.
It's gonna be his boat. I've already seen it 50 times in the comments.
What are you? I haven't seen it at all in the comments.
It's been there.
I'll give away my boat for $70 grand.
Oh, Jesus. It's not giving it away. You pay shipping of $70,000.
Yeah,
It's like
there we
those,
go.
it's like those
Shipping and
infomercials.
handling.
That's like
That's how much it's going to cost me to handle that.
It's $9.99 if you
Giving
buy
away
it
that.
today. You get 2 of them.
Dude, that's what
Pay
FedEx and
$49.99.
UPS is doing right now, and all the shipping carriers, like the increases across the board.
I saw it on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
They were charging like $60
Yeah.
for shipping. You know, you get this great deal on this thing.
That one has been cut
$69.
out. Whoa.
All right, guys, we're gonna give away some bottles of
Ooh.
Nick Wax here, and then also some Addicted Steelhead Blend Gel, which is limited edition. You can't even get this stuff right now, so you'll get to win some of that.
Bye-bye.
What do you got for a question?
What
Look at
technique? What
boys.
technique are we going to talk about first? Fixed float jig fishing, beads, or bobber dogging? Go. One of the 3.
Perfect.
Let's do that.
Perfect. We're going to randomly select someone. Do us a huge favor if you can. We'd like
Fixed
to get a
float.
bunch more people in here. So hit the thumbs up button, share it out to your family and friends. And then, yeah, we're going to randomly select someone. Drop
Fixed
a comment.
float.
Let us know what you want. Fixed floats for winning.
Yeah, what are we going to talk about?
Tomorrow we
Beads,
have-
beads, jigs, beads.
Tomorrow we have a YouTube video coming out on the YouTube channel where me and Jordan super in-depth talk about float fishing for steelhead.
Oh, you did?
Yep, with a sliding float and with a fixed float. And we catch no fish.
Perfect. Super in depth.
Well, and they don't know what they're talking about.
But we tell you guys how to do it.
Oh my god! All right. Ooh, this is like
There's
a lot of beads.
I have a seizure.
We got almost 700 people. Dude, it may break 1,000 tonight, guys.
I know.
We got almost 700 people in here tonight already.
And then we're gonna give away Cameron's truck.
No, I didn't say that.
We're
I
just
said
gonna-
Marlin's reel, not Cameron's truck. Just to be clear.
Whoa. Candle out.
Dude, it's like, it's too intense right now.
Bobber dogging because Nick is there.
Where'd mine
That's
go?
that would be a good opportunity to do that, folks. And you can bobber dog from the bank. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. A lot of people think that bobber dog, and I see that question a lot
Dude,
on our forums.
Should we?
Can I bobber dog from the bank? Well, you can, but there's certain things you want to look at or look out. Certain things you want to look for when doing it to be more effective from the bank.
While we're waiting to pick you guys, because we're going to give you guys 2 more minutes here. It's 7:30, so at 7:32, we're going to select a winner from the comments. So again, make sure you hit the
Okay.
thumbs up. Make sure you share it out there, and then just drop a comment below. Let us know. Do you want to talk about fixed floats? Would you say beads or bobber dogging?
Yeah.
Right?
all of it.
And we're going to talk about all of them, but we're just going to select what we're going to talk about first. We got a super chat with Twitching Jigs works for Steelhead. Yes, they do.
They do.
They do, and I've been hearing it more and more. I talked to a kid on the bank like 2 days ago that told me a story about how he fished
I like
in this.
Nick's truck, too.
Yeah, we fished in this hole for a super long time, or he did. Him and his buddies, they ran everything through there. He put on a chartreuse head twitching jig, first cast, got a steelhead.
Yep.
And so I think in certain scenarios, they're not going to be the thing you use and you go out and catch a million fish on, because I just don't think winter steelhead are that aggressive with the cold water. But I definitely think they work for sure.
Yeah, and I think that summer steelhead you might have.
Oh, summer steelhead.
They're gonna chase stuff down. It's a lot
We were
more
smashing summer
Yeah.
steelhead on them.
Yeah.
So they work good.
That's how I know.
Now it's already 7:31, so we got a super cool announcement right now. So these things, last time we put them on our website, a lot of you guys got really, really mad at me because they sold out so fast, and I got just completely hammered in the comments and messages, and people were like upset because they didn't get an opportunity to get them. So we have the 2 limited edition worms back on the website. There's about 400 packs of each. Last time we had 250 packs of each, and they sold in 6 minutes. They were gone off the website in 6 minutes. So if you want to go to side cam real quick, Cam, you can show them again really quick. These are the limited edition worms. These are what we released on our
Purple haze.
we released these on our winter drop. We got the pink with the purple tail right there. It's kind of a pearl pink with it's supposed to be like a translucent purple tail. And that one is called the Guaranteed. And I named that thing the Guaranteed because it's like, it's just caught so many fish. It's just one of those colors that, especially that pink pearl, that just, steelhead just cannot resist it. So we got that one, and then we also got the red, I don't remember what I even named that one, the Backwards Nightmare. The backwards. Now you got him to focus in there real good.
Yeah, I was working that camera. Working that camera. Work it.
Yeah. So the backwards nightmare, there you go. And then you have what's called the guaranteed. Again, last time these sold in no joke, 6 minutes they were gone. And I got you guys were, there's a lot of you that were really upset.
Dude, you were getting
beat me up pretty good.
Yeah, I was getting pretty beat up because they sold out so fast. So they're on the website. We got a bunch more this time. Hopefully a little bit more to give people time to get them. And we probably will not make them again this year. This will be the last round that we
I think
make.
that's going to be a seasonal thing.
So maybe next year we'll see. Maybe we'll bring them back. Maybe there'll be another limited run. But as of right now, we're not making any more of these color worms.
Oh,
so
man.
they're available. And now we got to pick a winner, Clint.
Pick a winner.
Here, super chat really quick.
Okay.
I think it's important to note that you do not need to be a Washington resident to speak at the public forums regarding the recent Steelhead changes. And Craig, that
Amen.
you know
brother.
what? A lot of people, yeah, you're spot on. I think they could, maybe some of the managers use it as an excuse to not look at it. But like I said, those people that are fishing up in Washington that are not fishing now are going to go to other states, and those other people in those other states should have concerns for that because as they remove those soccer fields, more people are going to play soccer there. So, yes, thank you very much.
Is that the winner,
Super
Clip?
Chat.
So there we go. We got Little Wig 111. Little Wig 111. You won yourself some Nick Wax and some Addicted Steelhead blend in the Super Gel. Make sure you shoot us an email to orders@addicted.fishing. Include your name, your shipping address, and let us know what you won, and we'll get it out to you, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't answer the question. He just said your boat. Come on,
We're
man.
going to let it slide this time. Okay?
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
There were so many good questions. I don't even know where to freaking start. Let's try to divvy this up. I think we need to talk about some bobber dogging from the bank first. I feel like that was
an
a
energy drink.
I feel like it.
Oh, he duck hunted really hard today.
I did.
Yeah, it's really hard. You just sit there as the birds fly by.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You guys don't even go pick them up either. You have a dog, huh?
That's true too, actually. Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
This is crazy.
It's pretty fun.
Look how hard we worked.
I mean, my shoulder hurts a little bit from shooting, but I am that. I'm just kidding.
How was it? Was it successful?
Not as successful as we thought it was going to be. Let's just say that. That's like every day.
You missed a lot, though, huh?
I don't miss.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay.
This is where we roll the pumpkin video.
Exactly. I can't wait till that comes out in the bloopers because it's in the bloopers video. He's like, big miss, big, and Sean put it in there so perfectly, dude. Yeah, we have an Addicted bloopers video come out, and I get just absolutely destroyed, smashed in it. Sean makes fun of me so bad in it. Popov, Cameron, Jordan. I mean, he did such a good job. I can't wait to have you guys just watch us get made fun of by Sean with all the hard work he puts in.
That could be scary.
It's
Because we do a lot of stupid stuff.
It's gonna be hilarious.
Yeah,
There's all sorts of illegal stuff in there. I'm doing. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, sweet! All those poaching things we do. Yes,
That's
we're gonna just finally air them.
We call that Iowa.
No, it's a funny blooper video for sure. So we're excited. We're gonna try to put that out at the beginning of the year.
Thank you so much, Spencer, for the super chat. Loving the Addicted float. Any chance you guys will make a big water version? Let's just say that I actually had to tie on a different bobber today because we're working on different versions of different things. So yes, the
We
answer
are
is
working
yes.
on some for
There
sure,
you go.
man.
That's all we got. Yes, big water versions coming soon.
Super chats.
Nick, remember when our boat limited in the last hour at Buoy 10 with Yuri and Vitali and the other guys?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember that?
I do. Those guys that fish with me every year. That was awesome.
That was awesome.
That sounds epic.
It is, it's crazy how all this stuff comes together. Like some days, it's just nothing, and then you just put a beat down on them.
Number one tip for a new steelhead fisher in the North Sound. I'm going to go first. The number one tip that I have for you, cover water.
Yep.
What do you got? Give him something else. He needs one from a pop-off tip.
What, for a beginner?
Yep. Number one thing for a new steelhead angler. What's the number one?
I would say, start with something that you can fish easy, like a worm, bobber setup. Don't try to get real in depth with your setups. I would just stay basic. Stay basic, cover water. Two super important things.
Cam, what do you got?
Don't cover water. I'm kidding. Know when to cover water and know when to stay home. And what I mean by that is if you got high water and you can sit in a spot and you can have all those, especially if you're in an area they're going, they're going either in the upper part of the trib or a hatchery, or a drop site, like a rec or a
rerun site.
No, reclamation pond. Acclimation pond. Oh wow, acclimation pond. You know what? If you can sit there all day and the water's up and the fish are moving, but if the water is low, and if you can't imagine steelhead swimming up through the riffles or through that type of water that day, like what Marlon said, cover water like crazy.
Yeah. So basically, don't leave fish. No
wind to cover water. Yep. Just to elaborate on Marlon's good point.
Yeah, I just see. I 100% agree with you. I just see in too many scenarios where guys are like sitting in the same spot all day.
When it's low,
even when it's not low, even when it's just like a moderate flow, and then I know a specific river on the Oregon coast where I'll drive by the guys in the morning as I've gone upriver. I come back, those same dudes are sitting, and I've hooked like one time in particular, I hooked 13 fish. It was me and 6 other guys, so between 6 guys, we hooked 13. We went back to that spot, and none of those guys had caught one.
I know exactly what spot you're talking about, too.
Yeah. None of them caught one. You'll see those guys, and you'll be rolling by them in the morning, and they're fishing, what generally is a good steelhead hole. But it's like a low, clear, they're not busting over those riffles right now. They're just kind of hunkering down, waiting for those low light situations. Sun's out, 2 in the afternoon, something like that, and you go by them, and been here all day.
Haven't seen a fish.
Yeah, and it's not like a dig at them. Honestly, it was a tough day of fishing. We had 6 guys and we only hooked 13. We kind of split up and we're all over the river in a lot of different areas. So it was a tough day of fishing. But it just, I've seen that in so many scenarios where sometimes you gotta hunt them. That's what makes steelhead fishing so fun to me, is that you're hunting them.
You're a hunter.
Yeah, you're out there and you are searching for these fish, and then when you finally hook one, it's just so rewarding.
And it's crazy too. Those like. The more you steelhead fish, and the more, even still, I learn every day, and every day I'm out there. But it's incredible what those fish can sit in. Like, that's why I like steelhead fishing so much. It's like the salmon kind of needs some water in a deep little trench, and steelhead can be in nothing.
Steelhead's a damn trout.
I remember a day that Kevin Gray.
What does Herzog say? They're not very tall.
They're not very tall.
Yeah. I remember a day with Kevin Gray. We were floating down this like flat section, and we were just buddy fishing. And he casts, and I laugh at him. I'm like, "What are you doing, dude? You're fishing on the beach?" And it wasn't like 2 seconds later, he sticks this fish, and I was like mind blown. I was like, "There's no way a fish could be sitting there." He knew to throw there from his experience on that river, and all that. But it was just amazing to me what that fish was sitting in that certain river. And then that day, that's where we caught all our fish, was in like 18 inches of water and these like little crazy little chocolate.
Cam talks about that all winter long. There's areas where he's fishing where it's like, 2 feet most, 3 feet.
Not even that.
Right.
I mean, it's not a foot.
Yeah.
Right. And those fish are in there just, it's mind-blowing.
Well, I mean, you get a river and you get stretches of river where I can see to the bottom everywhere, in every run, every hole. And it's like, well, they're hiding. There's definitely some cover.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely some cover. So, like, if you're going to find cover, I mean, a steelhead is not just going to sit out in the open. I mean, they're spooky as hell, right? They're tough fish to catch. Mm-hmm. And, you start picking on the riffles, start picking on that broken water, and you'll find fish in a foot of water. I mean, you're talking, stud wild. I mean, big fish.
There was a 2 or 3 years ago, there was this one section of river, and it literally, I would start there every morning, and there was, 6, 7, 8 fish there every morning hooking up, and it's like 99% of people would just row right over this,
Mm-hmm.
And I would too until I caught a fish there one day, and now
you expect to fish there every time.
Dude, I can't go through, and I can't tell you how many fish I've caught in there since that in the last 3 years.
Right.
It's not letting me do it.
It's like it's incredible on what those fish will sit in, and then like once you find a fish there, it gives you the confidence to make a cast there again. And now you have the confidence to fish that area, and it's amazing how many fish that's produced for me, that little section. And 3 years before that, I never fished it. Never even made a cast in there.
Marlon talked about covering a lot of water, and to be fair, like there was a spot. There's a spot on a river that I row a lot, same kind of thing, where slack water. I mean, dead water. Never even think to fish it. I started fishing it last year. It turned out to be one of my most productive spots. And it's just such a weird, like, you look at it, and especially knowing, like, what's upriver and downriver of it, same kind of thing. And it's like, I called it the vending machine for a while. It was really, it was very, very, very
Put your quarter in and get your surprise.
Yeah, it's very, Yeah. So so fish everything, especially if you're learning and you're trying to be new. So going back to the original question, fish everything. Definitely don't just come down to the river with one spinner. Come down to the river with fixed rods. So we're going to talk a little bit about that.
That's what I think we need to dive in. I think we need to dive into.
I think one more thing on that
tactics here.
Beginner thing though is be cognizant of people and don't just go bombarding. People that are new to it don't know what to expect on the rivers and stuff like that. And
we've talked about that a few times with
river etiquette and things like that.
With a river etiquette episode is really just be. What's the word? Really, communicate. I couldn't figure out communicate there for a minute. Really communicate with other anglers and new people like that.
Eat one of these. This will wake you right up.
Oh gosh!
No, we gotta give those away, bro.
You smelled these before?
No. Is it garlic?
Oh, Jesus!
It's not.
Not gonna smell.
It's gnarly.
We got a super chat.
Nico Smith says, opinion on Corker boots. Looks like they collab with the Steelhead and HH. I'm looking to replace the bottom and Sin boots, but I'm on a budget. Man, honestly, I do not have a lot of experience using Corkers, but I hear a lot of good things about them.
I do.
So I think that's the pair that I have, and the pair with the Bola.
They redesigned them though.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I have the old one, and I still love them. I hate tying
I had them at some
soggy
point. Maybe
shoes.
I gave them to someone.
I got that pair, and I love mine. But I will say this: if I know I'm following this guy around the bank, and I know I'm doing some hiking that day, I don't wear them. But for my raft or my drift boat. Yeah. I really like those.
Yeah, I really, really, really like Sims's system with their star cleats. I haven't found anything much better than it. It has a rubber sole, and then they have these proprietary, patented, they're called star cleats that go in between each of the bottom of the soles. And I haven't found anything better. I swear, when I first got them, I was like, man, these things are amazing. It's like you're magnetized to the rocks, even on slimy, eastern summery rivers, and I really, really like the star cleats. But if you have a drift boat or something, they're bad. They smash up wood. They're like a cleat. They really are gnarly.
Right.
But I haven't found much better when it comes to those. But again, I don't have any experience with the Steelhead boots, and I know the guys at Steelhead can design and make some really badass stuff, so I would venture to say that they're probably good boots.
I've heard a lot of good things.
Aaron Davis says, love the channel. Keep it up, fellas. Merry Christmas. Appreciate it, man. Thank you, Aaron. Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Merry Christmas, Aaron.
All right, guys, let's do this. Let's get into some of the bobber dogging stuff. Let's talk about how you're going to apply it to the bank. Chris Calhoun, we're going to get to your question of when would you switch from bobber dogging to chandeliering? Because I feel like we could go from bobber dogging to chandeliering to some fixed float fishing pretty easily.
Yeah,
so let's start with that.
As far as the difference between the two, I think that
would you bobber dog from the bank? Could you bobber dog from the bank?
Absolutely.
What would you do differently? So for those of you guys that don't know what bobber dogging is, let's
want me to just run through the setup.
Absolutely.
Want me to go side cam?
Sure. I'll let you rock around there.
This thing's set deep. Side cam, Clint.
Serving up some side cam.
Serve that.
Oh my gosh.
All right, guys. So starting with the setup. So when we refer to bobber dogging, this is what we're referring to. Is basically this chopped off bobber. So basically, the idea behind this bobber is that your bobber's moving downstream. So when you cast your bobber, a vertical style float will sit straight up and down, right? Well, your bobber dogging float the current moving this way is gonna lay flat like this, and that's because your lead is dragging on the bottom, okay? And so it's basically the water's pushing up. The water is pushing up against this flat part of the bobber here and pushing your bobber downstream, therefore walking your gear downstream. So that's what we're talking about when we're referring to bobber dogging. It's this specific style float, and they can be an array of different sizes. There's a lot of different people will take a regular bobber, cut it in half, and have chop their float up. There's no perfect answer to what a certain type of bobber dogging float.
So real fast, why do you bobber dog? Tell me why would somebody try to fish this way versus do you want to be what is the main thing you achieve when you bobber dog?
So the most important thing about bobber dogging, I would say, is that you're able to cover So let's say you're drift fishing, and for those of you who don't know what drift fishing is, or if you do, it's basically a piece of lead and you're drifting it along the bottom, right? So you cast out, you drift down, slightly below, you reel in and recast. So when you drift fish, you cast out, your stuff hits the bottom, and it slowly works its way back towards you, right, out of the seam. So you have this main current of seam. Well, you only have so much line out. So what's that?
No, keep on.
So you can free spool line and give it line and kind of keep it in that moving water where those fish are technically going to be holding. But when you have a bobber dogging float, you can cover it whether it's 6 inches of water or whether it's 15, 20 feet deep. You can stay in that seam because this bobber is being pushed by the current and it's therefore holding you in that current seam. So you're allowed. It enables you to fish a long stretch of water, extend your cast out, and keep your fish.
So you can make one cast. So whether from the boat bank, you make one cast out top.
Yep.
And as long as you're not pulling that bobber towards you, you want to leave a little line on the water.
Yep.
You can fish 300 yards.
It's
you can fish a quarter mile.
Yeah.
If on
you
one
fish
cast,
all the line you have on your.
You're not constantly redoing line.
Right.
And the reason why you can do that is because the way the weight drags on the bottom and the current is pulling it straight.
Yep.
Also, too, when you cast like into certain seam lines and certain like up against edges and stuff along the river, your bait will also stay in there, and like the weight will go down. Since if you're fishing a little heavier lead than you would normally do,
right.
It stays down there, and it keeps it in those lines and in those seams and along those breaks that the fish really like to hold.
Yeah, that's just your target fishing with this setup. You have a current seam, and those fish are all holding in this one current seam. Well, you're able to take this setup and continually run it right down the pipe. If you finally get a bite, you find out where those fish are laying, and you just rinse and repeat. And this allows you to stay in there so much longer, better than any other setup. You could do it with floats and stuff like that as well.
You can fish. You can fish like worms and stuff and fish like chandelier beads. But at the end of the day, like you're not generally fishing like a 1/3 ounce or a 1/2 ounce weight to get your presentation down really quick. The other thing, one other advantage I have with that, if you don't mind me cutting you off here, is that you are fishing from the bank or fishing from the boat. You have one guy like working one seam, another guy working another. You can see. Whereas when guys are side drifting or drift fishing, you throw out, all you see is the line in the water. You don't know if he's right here or if he's got a lot of line out and it's bowing upriver.
Yep.
You have those bobbers and you can kind of really tell like what guys are fishing where.
Yeah, and if you got buddies fishing the bank and you're in a hole or something like that, you can just tear a hole apart in minutes. Really.
Oh, we've done that on a couple of Addicted Life episodes, sitting on the bank. I can remember one that we were catching a lot of steelhead, like episode 29 or whatever the hell it was.
Yes.
I couldn't remember what it was. But yeah, you can definitely pick apart some water.
Right, and then in the boat as well.
And then
it's the same thing.
We're not talking boats though, damn it.
That's right.
Just
we'll get
kidding.
there in a minute. But
the other thing about the presentation though, and Cole alluded to this earlier, is it slows it down.
Well, I was just going to get there. Like that's the theory behind a lot of fishing. To me, when you're fishing with a float, is slowing it down slightly slower than the current. You may not notice it, like you may think it's moving identical speed, but it slows this presentation down just enough time to give that fish time to react. And I think that's a huge thing.
And I think too, like when you have a river, and let's say you got 6 feet of water, your top current is always faster than what's rolling along the bottom. And so when that weight is dragging along the bottom, it's slowing. Even though that bobber's popping and picking that weight up out of the rocks as it's working it down, it does slow it down just a little bit. And I think, like I said, steelheading is a perfectionist sport. That little difference in that slowdown might be what is going to trigger that fish to go over instead of something that's like maybe moving by him a little faster. But the slowdown, and then you couple that with, you can also fish two baits very effectively. So you can fish a bead and a bait, or a bead or bait eggs, or a bead and a yarny, or a worm and a bead, or two beads, or two baits, whatever the hell you want. Like, so you can fish a lot of gear.
Yeah, and you can really stagger. It just gives you the opportunity to cover a lot of water, keep your bait in the zone, and slows it down. I think just giving it that extra.
Is it supposed to be slowing it down, Helen? I think it does just by the way the technique is fishing, and that's a lot of times why bobber dogging is. And this is where I wanted to talk on Chris's question with bobber dogging a bead versus chandeliering. This is where I think that break is made, and that break is made with either very, very shallow water or with current or not steady current.
Right. And a lot of times, like when they ask to slow it down, a lot of times that's the other cool thing about this. Like if your bobber's moving fast, you can pick all your line up, keep your rod tip nice and high, and you slow it down by keeping your line off the water. If you want to speed it up, you lay a little bit more line on the water. It's going to pull that current, get that, you get a bow in your line, that current pushes against that bow in your line, which is forcing your gear downstream. So you can kind of, you know, transition whether I want to run it fast or do I want it to go through there slow as possible, you know, and you could kind of find out, let the fish tell you what they want. Do they want a slow presentation? If not, speed it up a little, put a little line on the water. You just got to remember, if you get a lot of line on the water, the hook
The bobber's going to go down sooner or later.
Yeah.
You gotta reel it all in.
You got to reel all that line in and stay tight to the fish. So
real fast, why is the chopped bobber? Because when that bobber's laying on the side, having that flat surface, the water will like resist against that flat instead of having like a bowed surface, and it tends to give the bobber a little more push down the river because that lead is kind of heavier than what you think you would want to be running, and you get a little like pickup action as the bobber's getting pushed by the water. It's popping that lead out just down the river.
And you can, there's, you know, like you can dredge the bottom. You know, some guys like dredging, like where your bottom, and when I say dredging, that just means your weight like constantly dragging. Or you can make it to where it's just kind of skipping along the bottom and you won't see as much of that effect in your bobber. So it's just kind of, you know, play with it. Some days they want it, that bait dredge. It's just like trolling herring. Some days they want it on the bottom being dragged, and some days they want it just slightly suspended off the bottom. So it's just kind of playing with that. But it's just a super versatile way to cover water, you know, and keep your gear in the zone for the longest amount of time. I think that's a lot of steelhead fishing, is knowing that you're fishing, knowing that you're fishing efficiently all the time. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, that's why this setup is so productive and why so many people have taken it on.
A couple things just real fast, like bringing this to the bank though, is
we have a video on our YouTube channel where you show how to fish from the bank.
Yep. And you've talked about it where you fish like, you want to fish like a little heavier lead than you would from a boat, because one thing from the bank, you're very limited. Like when you're bobber dogging from a boat, you can cast upstream, you can dump line to it. You have time by the time you get down in the drift, and you might run 100 yards. Well, if you're on the bank and you're stationary, you're not like walking down the bank every time. You want to cast out. You want a couple things to look at is you want to make sure that your bobber allows the line to go through it slowly. We're working on that. That's why you see that bobber there. But moving on. You also want to fish a little heavier, probably a little heavier lead, because if you're casting out and that line's not pulling through the bobber, because you're fishing like I said, you're fishing like a 12-foot drop in like 8 feet of water, 6 feet of water.
Right.
That line's got to get through the bobber, and if you don't have enough weight and it's not pulling it through the bobber, and it's getting halfway down your drift before it starts tapping. Right. You're not fishing up there, and you're going to be quickly ringing it out. And you're not fishing like you're not.
I always say on the bank, run heavier lead. I mean, period. You know, on the boat, sometimes you run super small lead.
Yeah, you're going to drift a quarter mile,
right? Because you're going to make this long stretch. But when you're on the bank, you want your gear down and fishing immediately. So like that little extra added weight is perfect. I mean, that's one of the better tips I would say for doing this from the bank.
Yeah.
Do you ever bobber dog anything besides beads?
Absolutely. That's I think we kind of hit on it, but like that's the advantage of this. You could put a worm behind it. You could put bait behind it. You can put a bait and a bead. You can put 2 beads. You know, I would say for a beginner, like stick to casting a single setup. You know what?
What's all this weird stuff? Because I've been hearing people like bobber dog and like plugs and stuff.
Not this guy. I would say you can do kind of anything with it. I mean, it's all about current and what you have, I guess. You know, I don't know how a plug would work, bobber dog, because
I chandelier.
I've heard there's some really good fishermen that do it.
If you think about it, if the weight is tapping down and it's going slower than the current,
right?
Therefore, it's going to be giving you a little bit of action on the plug.
Right.
I'm sure if you probably take some fine tuning there. That's intriguing.
I wonder if you'd run you'd probably have to run like a 2-foot leader to keep it in that.
Yeah.
I mean, it would probably work.
Just a little wiggle as it's backing down.
Just the right plug too.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe. Like I said, there'd be some fine tuning there, but you got to be outside the box, and kudos to those guys that do that.
I think that's the thing we all strive for in fishing is like.
Okay, what are we moving to next?
We're gonna talk about a little bit about chandeliering. So basically, that's vertical fishing a beat.
Right. So there's a couple different types. There's, you know, and I don't do a ton of this unless the water conditions, you know, are low or. There it is. Yeah, I mean that's the only time I'm gonna chandelier is basically where you're gonna allow your leader length to do the work for you. And is what it's doing, in my opinion, is I'm just keeping that weight out of the fish's face. You want those fish to see as little as possible with still getting the same presentation, but
you got to talk about what it is though, because there's a lot of
Well,
people
I was
out
gonna
here
say,
that I don't
that's
even
always
know what the
tough,
hell
yeah.
a chandelier. Like until that started getting talked about a couple of years ago, I was like, what?
It's not okay. First off,
People think
people
the chandelier's
are
like-
using
Yeah.
people are using like the term more,
right.
but
Oh
really,
yeah, it's been
really,
around forever, but I just didn't know what the heck chandeliering
really,
was until.
it's like a shot pattern
Yeah.
type of style
Yeah.
of fishing. So like basically what it is, float that you're not purposely generally like trying to drag the bottom to slow it down. You want the bead down towards.
So
the bottom.
would you use like a fixed float to
You
do
can
it?
absolutely use a fixed float.
Absolutely.
You can use a sliding float as well.
Yeah, I prefer a fixed float when I do it. If I'm fishing super low stuff, shallow stuff,
Yeah.
like shallow runs and stuff like that, I'd fish a fixed float for sure.
Yep, absolutely. But the idea, guys, is that you just fix, we'll just call it a float, and then you're going to have a split shot, and then you're using a split shot or a weight somewhere in the line.
Or multiple split shots.
Or multiple.
Some
as
guys
like,
go a bigger, little,
right,
little,
that, and
little,
that's the shot pattern.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. That's
Boom,
where
boom,
the
boom.
term chandeliering came from, I believe, is that shot pattern.
So how? I wish you had a way to like show it. Like
I know.
So
I didn't,
how
that was
far
the one
down-
rod I didn't bring for some dumb reason.
like how far down would you put your first weight, and then would you like then put them down from there?
When I
Depends
do
on
it,
what-
go ahead. So when I'm doing it, I spread my weights out equally. So like if I have a 6 foot leader, I'll run one, 18 inches, then another one 18 inches, and then it just you play with it. If you're getting hung up a lot, you kind of adjust some of those weights up higher and lighter weights down. But I'm always leaving my last 2 feet empty. I don't put a shot down by my presentation. I want that as freely as I can keep it.
And what that's going to do, guys, is when you're fishing that style of rig, when you cast it out, it's going to basically, if you think about it, the bobber's going to be here, but it's going to like lay out that bead or that bait eggs. You can do bait egg, you can do anything with it.
Oh yeah.
It's going to lay it out to where it's like it's going to roll along the bottom, and as the depth changes too, you have a range there that bead or that bait or whatever you're throwing, that hook is being extremely effective.
Right.
Whether it's 6 inches of water
Mm-hmm.
or whether it's 4, 5, 6, 7 feet.
Yep.
It'll just kind of roll along the bottom, hit that slow water where the bobber dogging is going to stop because it's not going to, you're like I said, you don't have
Right.
the current, and then it's going to fish through. So like for me, like let's just be honest, like last year for me, when that water got low and clear, I chandeliered like the whole damn season. I don't even think I bobber dogged freaking once after February 1st.
Yeah. And depth will change whether I'm using a fixed float or a sliding float. So
Right, because if you get stuff that's deeper than
yeah.
7, 8, 9 feet, and you have guys casting fixed float leads that are like 10 or
9,
12,
10
it gets
feet.
a little cumbersome, and
Yeah.
that's where the sliding float
It's
comes in.
scary.
It's
let's be
scary.
honest.
A lot of guys
Being
can't
the
even
Matrix
do
in
it.
the boat.
No.
Yeah.
It's
Why?
hard because
Yeah.
what happens is they get their gear in the water, and as they make that cast, it's a light setup. So their
Snap.
stuff's in the water, and they're like, "Ugh," and it goes nowhere.
Or they
So-
snap, and then it goes.
Yeah.
It's a disaster.
Sean L says, Merry Christmas from the Real Savage Fishing Team in Northwest Indiana. Can we elaborate on finding pressured fish in cold water and techniques? Thanks so much for the super chat. First off, man,
Thank you.
sounds like you guys are.
I just want to say when they say cold water, I think that's a completely different thing than when we say cold water.
I know, right?
I know that.
It's very similar though. Like downsize, use some bait.
Yep.
Like a lot of those guys, I see them. They're tying like same thing you're doing, and you're tying like the bead-sized spawn sacks, right?
To
So a lot of those guys do over in those kind of areas. I think from what I've seen. Again, I've never been over there, but
Right, and like I said, I haven't either. So I've heard and seen they're fishing some little creek that's got like no water in it, like 8 foot
Some of
snow
that-
drifts on the side. I'm just like, man, when my river gets down to like 3 degrees, it's like over.
Yeah.
It's,
so if just a couple pieces of advice,
Right.
man, just try to downsize your presentation and definitely try to add like something to it, some meat, some eggs, some prawns, some shrimp, anything.
where applicable, like a little piece of bait, a little extra something, just to make that fish move. Just like,
And
okay, I gotta check this out.
And
Like,
there's
'cause
been
they're
days.
lethargic.
There's been days in cold water that big presentations work too. And I think it's just like now if you got super clear water, I think it's just like getting that presentation in front of their face, something that's they don't want to move out of the way of it. It's just more work to move than it is to eat it. So they,
Yeah, you got also
I
So
go
when
both
Jordan
ends of
was
the
just
spectrum.
over in Idaho, he said it was real. Like he couldn't get a fish on a sinking jig. He was cutting them down to like as small as you could make them, and it did not matter. Like the only thing those fish, they wanted like teeny stuff,
Right.
like teeny. To the point where you'll see in the episode that we put out this Sunday, the one dude's like using a super teeny jig, and Jordan's using a sink it, and he keeps like cutting it down and trying to make it smaller and smaller. They wouldn't touch it. to finally Jordan's like, dude, give me one of those jigs. And he like grabs one of the jigs from the dude and starts hammering them as well. So, and then over there, Jordan said too, a lot of those fish, when it gets really, really cold, they'll go into like the deepest holes. Yeah. So there'll be like 200 steelhead in a hole that's like 50 feet deep. And they'll just all be hanging out there because the water's warmer and the deeper water.
Yep, you got different thermocones of water.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Robert McGovney said that's how we float fish when center pinning. The idea is to present the bait to the fish, so when it bows out, the bait is first. So when it's rolling down, you put just a little, the ever so little bit of tension, and it kicks that bait down river and feeds it. Yeah,
feed it to them.
And then those guys over there have been definitely, like I said, fine tuning it a little more. That's like why I'm kind of getting more and more intrigued about center pinning, which I've never done, but we need to do. So thank you so much for the super chat there too. A couple things. John Hurt, yes. So like that chandeliering technique does work really good in 1 to 3 feet of water. In fact, honestly, that's where it excels. That is where you want to be. And then Zach asked a question like, what do you do in areas where you can't fish bait in Washington? Bait in Washington is scent, where Oregon, it's different. Let's just say that because I think it's different on certain river systems.
Oregon is so
check
confusing.
check your rules and regulations. But bait in Washington is no scent. So which is why we sell our worms unscented, fish a jig, and fish beats.
But keep in mind, in some areas in Oregon, because who the hell knows what the hell they're thinking.
Just check your regs.
Somehow,
do your homework.
If you go into the Webster's dictionary right now and you type in bait, you are not going to see anything that says plastic.
Nope. Right, and here's the thing about Oregon. To my understanding of some of the Oregon rules, like I can fish I can't fish
plastic. Yeah,
plastic.
You can't fish a worm, but you can use scent.
Yeah,
but I can't fish a plastic worm that's unscented. But I could have my egg jar. I could take a piece of yarn, soak it in egg juice, cast it out there, and go to town.
Yep.
It's so.
Tell me that logic.
I'll tell you what happened. No, I'm not going to tell you because it's just going to get us on another rant. But Oregon, you need to change that because that rule's ridiculous.
I feel like it should be scent is scent.
Yeah, scent is bait.
Scent is bait.
I mean, if you get any scent from Procure, it is all 100% made with real bait.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So it's bait.
Right.
Yeah. And I think if you take any of those gels, like if I take and that's the other thing. So fish beads too, because beads are legal. Like I said, I'm going to tell you to check the rules wherever you're fishing because maybe there's some freaking obscure rule on a river you're fishing.
Yeah.
I don't know about. But as far as my understanding is, bait is Washington. He asked me about Washington on the note because they put all those, no fishing from boat, no bait, rule regulations. So a lot of guys are probably having to figure that out.
Yeah, Joshua, Eugene, Oregon says scented jigs, but no plastic worms.
Yeah, scented jig. I can take a jig, rub it in my egg juice, get it just all up in there.
I'm telling you, that is a 100% attack on worms because they work too good.
Well, just got to make sure you know where you can fish them. Right?
I agree.
Haters.
Yeah, make sure you check the regs.
Make sure you do your homework.
Because I do. I check my regs.
And we do our homework.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, moving on. The rant squad, man. Yeah, well, I feel like we're like.
So sometimes there's just nothing. There's a lot of
rant. So we talked about.
There's way too much rant.
We talked about some.
No more rants the rest of this episode.
Why would you say that? That's going to be a lie. We're going to rant about ranting right now. Oh gosh. Where do you get those dope Brad's hoodies? You can get them all on Brad's website yet? Or do you have to call Brad's? Still got to call Brad's. Call Brad's Killer Fishing Gear. They'll hook you up. Yep. Okay. When y'all come to the Great Lakes, February. There you go. And moving on.
February 22nd.
Yep. Let's see here.
We'll be there. We'll be there.
I didn't give an exact date, but cool.
I'm going to tell people I want to try to do some meetups.
February
Hopefully
22nd.
COVID's dead by then.
Should be. Never mind. Oh.
This guy says Marlon's going to rant in like 10 seconds. Spot on.
Any new worms coming out? Lucas Baldwin, not only do we have our limited edition ones, but we do have some ones for 2021.
That came out.
We've got a couple, and they are on the website right now. Hauling back, Great Lakes. What part?
Unfortunately, no, they're not. Some of them were sold out.
Oh, well, they're coming back. We'll have these all year.
But we do. We'll have
these all year.
Chrome Candy and the Ghost.
You want me to side camera?
Side camera.
Where can we say where we're going to the Great Lakes? Is Hollenbach's asking what
Michigan.
part?
I don't know.
Michigan. Well, I feel like we have time to do. It's all like kind of within 8 hours of each other.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be talking when we. Yeah, we're gonna be the guy that we're kind of linking up with. We're gonna try to do a bunch of different stuff.
There it is.
Come to Palousky.
There you
So I
go.
don't know where all
So
that's
we
at.
got the.
So these ones will be available all year when they're in stock. We're going to try to keep them in stock for you guys all year.
You're out of the camera. Some of them are in stock, right? Like I think the pink ghost is in stock,
You
but
can kind of see this one has that iridescence.
Yep, that's what it's supposed to do. Yeah. That one's gonna.
Side cam. I think one of the old guys I used to play ball with was on. He was like, "That's a float surf, sir." I'm like, I rarely do float surfs, so I don't even know where you got that picture.
Wasn't on your page. I'll say that.
Oh, of course not.
Oh,
domed him.
Like
Let's talk about some fixed float because
that was a good bead.
Fixed float, like if you guys, man, I'll tell you what, if you guys are gonna go out there, you're gonna start bank fishing, you gotta have the fixed float. Like you gotta have the fixed float. It's just generally like when you're bank fishing. I know some of you guys fish big water rivers, but a lot of times we're fishing smaller rivers. We're trying to pick it apart, how fast you can adjust your presentation from 1 foot to 8 foot with a fixed float. It's just super simple, very quick, very efficient. And then when you very natural, yes, that's a good move because you lose all that other stuff in the line. You use the sliding weight, you lose the shot pattern, you lose a lot of those things. You're fishing just a jig head or a worm, and you are completely we're completely sold out.
Yeah, both of those, yeah.
Oh god, don't talk about that.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, so you're completely losing all that. It's fine. So you're completely losing all that, guys, and you can be very efficient, and you can walk to the bank. You can be like Marlon. You can take 3 casts, and then you can go somewhere else. You want to talk about fixed float?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So these are what we're obviously talking about with the fixed floats. Yes, they are completely sold out on our website, and I've seen it asked 3 or 4 times. We do not know when we are getting it back in. Unfortunately, I'm not painting these in my garage or making them. I might be actually soon, just so we can get some more of them.
Right.
But I tell you what, yeah. So any idea on that, Marlon? You want to add to that?
No idea when we're gonna have the floats back in stock. Sorry, guys.
We get 800 of them, and we sell them out within.
I can tell you when they're
4
available for me to get from Mustad again, we will have 2,000 of each color.
Yeah,
but as of right now, I can't get them. So
a fixed float, guys.
Let me just elaborate on that, guys, and just let you guys know. As you guys know, the whole entire world has been just hammered with this COVID stuff, and a lot of companies that do manufacturing in the U.S. or out of the U.S. have been hammered. All sorts of things have happened with factories not being able to have as many people in there and all that stuff. And so a lot of companies, especially a lot of companies in the fishing industry, have struggled to keep gear in stock. That's why when Cam was trying to give away my 30 fishing reel, that's why I was getting so mad at him, because literally you can't. I've driven to every store around here, and within 200 miles, you can't find a size 30 reel.
But I do know where a bunch of Simars went to.
Oh.
I'm not going to say.
But regardless, so that's why we don't have any floats right now, but we're going to get more as soon as we can, and we'll let you guys know.
But I just saw Little Wig say the Costco Chrome Kit has 2 of them.
Ooh, that's true.
Bud. That's true. Thank you for that. Yeah,
I didn't even think about that.
So, but if
you
you
go buy some,
but that's the other thing. Well, unfortunately, half of all the stock in the Costco's were sold out days ago, and I don't know where we're at even now. So, good luck finding them, because there are some of the Costco's on the list that are sold completely out.
But there's still plenty left from what I've heard in a lot of different locations.
Yeah, you might have to dig.
Get a little driving.
Yeah.
Go for a little evening
drive.
Go for a
little drive. Go for a little drive.
Let's go do a little Costco.
But fixed float presentation, guys, as you can see here, it's super simplistic. You've got a float, and you've got your presentation. The thing about the fixed float is the way it's attached to the line. There is no tying of leaders. There is no... that sounded lovely against the garage door opener. There is no tying leaders. There is no extra riggings. You have your float. If you're using a braided tough line or a nylon line, you've got your probably 6 to 8 foot chunk of fluorocarbon, and you can size that from like a 12 to a 25 depending on where you're fishing. You've got a little tied with a crazy Alberto knot or a double uni, and there's a lot of different knots. There's a lot of different knots that you can use to attach that mono or fluorocarbon bumper to the nylon line, because I don't want to run the nylon line all the way down to my presentation. I want to be stealthy. That's kind of the point of this. Like, you're removing a lot of the stuff on the line so you can be stealthy, and then you run it through the bobber, and then you run it to your presentation, whether that be a jig, whether that be a chandeliered bead with a couple split shots on there,
a worm,
or a worm.
Check your regulations.
Check your regulations, for God's sakes. But yeah, as you can see, so walk up to the hole. I got a nice, beautiful tail out run here. I'm going to guess it's 6 feet. I cast out said fixed float. I'm like, okay, water looks that deep. Cool. Throw it out there. One big thing about the fixed float is because you don't have any of these inline weights or anything like that when you cast it out. If you are fishing a little bit too deep, that bobber, it's going to register right away. Like you're going to see that bobber ticking and bouncing while the bottom. Sometimes if you have an inline weight to like a sliding float, it deadens that and you're not going to see it as quickly, or you're not going to understand that it's running along the bottom. And for steelhead, generally, you don't want to be on the bottom. You want to be there though. You don't want to be.
I always tell people within 6 to 12 inches is what I shoot for.
You want to be on the bottom. So sometimes it's actually good because if you're if you're a new angler, trying to figure out water, you don't know how deep it is. You run to a run. Oh, there's like a seam line, and you're trying to put it together. One quick way you can do it: add a little depth to that. Detect the bottom. Maybe break off a couple of those mustad jigs and addicted worms so you buy more from us. Just kidding. But bounce it on the bottom and use the bobber to like feel your way through the run and understand that that right there
is bottom.
Is 4.5 feet deep.
Yep.
I'm gonna tick the bottom. Okay, run it up a foot, and then I'm gonna fish it.
And see that's one of the major things I see so many people. And why I always have just pure confidence fishing behind someone, because a lot of people do not adjust their depths. They'll go through, they'll run it through 4 feet. They run the whole hole 4 feet. And what you have to understand is when you look at a fishing hole, one section maybe 6 feet, a section right next to it then maybe 7 feet, and then a section over here maybe 9.5 feet. So I will run through every single depth until I'm dragging through each section, because what's going to happen is a lot of times those fish are like sitting down in those little divots, those little 2-foot sections, and you got to dig them out.
Yep.
You got to dig them out of there.
And it's also too, because when you have maybe a little water moving, it's also not just the depth like going this way. It's also like running a deeper run and then bringing it in.
Yep.
And fishing at your feet and fishing, covering some of the shallow water. And generally when you bring it in, the water's going to be going, chances are, unless you're cutting like on a cut bank or something, but it's going to be a little slower. That's where the fixed float, when you have really, really slow water that you think fish can be holding in, that's where the fixed float is absolutely just, there's nothing better, truth be told.
Yes.
So you can adjust your depths quick. You can make those deeper casts. I'm going to bring it in a foot, fish here. I'm bringing it in here, fish here. Run it down, do what Marlon said, detect the bottom, kind of figure out. Now, since I'm learning, and I know the water level, I call it normal or call it, steel winter flows, whatever you want to call it. It changes all the time, but at least you'll have an understanding that if I cast over there, it's 6 feet. If I cast here, it's 3. Yep. You have a starting point. Next time you come back, you'll understand that water. So you've learned it, you move on, you take that fixed float, you go to the next spot, and you detect again, and you figure it out again, and you piece it.
And once you figured out how to run a fixed float, you're going to be a much better angler, because it makes everything else you run that much easier.
And not even just that, it is so, the reason I always try to preach it and tell people to use it is you can't get anything more natural.
Nope.
You have your float to your presentation. As long as you're good with your rod and your line control.
Moving around.
As long as you're good with that, you are in the game at catching a fish.
Right. Another thing, like you talked about, if you can figure out the mending on a fixed float, it really will, you'll do all your slide floats and your bobber dogging so much better, because one thing about the fixed float, because it's so well balanced and because it's just such a light balsa, when you run that line down, you want that bobber straight up and down.
Yep.
A lot of times what I see, like when my clients get in the boat, they'll get down to the end of the run, they'll get a little line on the water, and they'll start, and as you're trying to think,
it starts dragging it.
Right, you'll see. Right, like I'm casting downstream, I'm letting it go downstream, but as it gets downstream, all of a sudden you'll see the bobber start doing the tip and slide. And if that bobber is sliding and that bobber is moving horizontally, or perpendicular to the current, there we go. If it's moving basically across the current, if that bobber is tilting, that presentation's going
right to the top.
Now, obviously, I can fish like a freaking half ounce, whatever, and you can
keep it down.
You can help keep stuff down in boilier water or tougher drift or tougher current with a little heavier
lead. If the current's going this way, the flow would be this way.
Right, exactly. But the bobber is going to tip and tilt, and if that bobber is tip and tilting, it's telling you that your presentation is going down. Like you say, you can go in behind people, because a lot of times guys will just they don't focus on keeping that fixed float
straight
vertical. And they'll go through a run, but as they were running through that run, getting where the fish are going to be, the presentation was popping up, sliding out. Visibility was only 2 feet. They weren't even in the wheelhouse fish.
Yep.
Going behind their guy, what? First thing a fish saw.
To expand on that a little bit, and the reason why everyone knows I've been fishing these fixed floats for years. I've preached them for years. Even before we designed our fixed float, I used the Phil float for years. It was a great float. The Phil Steelhead float, an amazing float, right? But there was always these little nuances of things that I was like, God, I could make this float so much better if I could just do this and I could do this. Yeah. And one of the things I always hated about that float, and what we used to do back in the day, is we would like take the little wire lead and we would wrap the wire lead around the base of it, or we'd add a couple split shots to the bottom or whatever. But what you want your float to do is you want it to be tracking in the water the same speed as the water. And if the float's up too high, so if your float's like sitting way up in the current and just like on the top, that top of that current's going to be like ripping that float down. So you want it to suck down into the water just perfect enough to where it's tracking exactly the current speed. And then you're going to catch so many more fish. And that was the reason we designed these floats, because you can adjust these weights on here and you can get that float to and it sounds nerdy and it sounds like one of those 5% things, but man, it makes so much of a difference when you're fixed float fishing, having that extra little just oomph that gets that float to just fish perfectly natural.
Yeah, with the Phil floats, I used to take hollow core lead.
Yep.
Jam it down the stem of that, of the Phil floats. And slide the hollow core lead up.
Exactly. And with these, we didn't just add external weights. We actually also have an internal weight that goes up on the shaft that's molded around the float. Again, that's how like nerdy we got with it. We were trying to make it like perfect when it floated through the water.
Real fast, I just saw a good, really good. When I was using my addicted float, I was getting a lot of line twists. What am I doing wrong?
Is your float on the braid? If your float is on the braid, that is a number. You're going to have that happen every single time, especially depending on what braid. Because the braid wraps around the float.
And I was going to ask him, are you using that rod for anything else? You throwing a spinner with it? You know that? Because like I have not experienced.
I've never had line twist.
No line twist. And
if it's on braid and you have like flimsy floppy braid, it'll do it like every damn time.
If your bobber is slid onto your braid, if you don't have a top shot.
Yes, it will. It'll do it every time.
I guess I can say I probably never.
No, you're always running it on the floor.
Well, there's probably like that 3 or 4 times, and I'll bring it up like, and I got to fish a 10-foot hole and rip it past the knot. But I'm only doing that so little. I'm not fishing that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good point. But
I make it a point like when I have to slide it up on the braid because I'm like, damn, I don't have enough top shot for this hole or whatever. I need to go deeper. I'm always like watching it and making sure it's not wrapping around. And then when you cast it out, you have to like perfectly, because it'll just wrap every time.
Yeah.
So.
Braid or no braid, man. Wild Brian, fish a braid. Fish a 30, 40-pound braid. And then just tie a top shot on there and run your fixed float and thank me later.
I've even started using 50-pound. I like it so much because it just rides on top of the line. It just rides on the water.
I've never used anything other than 50-pound. I ran 40 for a little while, but
I was a 30 guy, and I was breaking, sometimes I was breaking some 15 and 20-pound bumpers, and I was breaking that knot. But the second I went to 40, even if I upped this to 15, 20-pound, I would break that knot, and I'd always hold that, and I'd always keep my float.
Yeah, that's the whole reason.
To the fish,
this is another huge advantage of fixed floats. There's been times when I've literally gone like that and ran it through like a riffle, like a just same kind of water you're fishing with those beads when you're chandeliering, going like that shallow to run the jig through there.
Watching from Sydney, Australia. Thank you, William.
Dude, I'm trying to go out to Australia someday.
Hey, I want to go out there. Me and Marlon want to come out there and catch some GTs, man. What's up?
I want to go out there and catch freaking Murray cod.
Well, yeah, I want to do that too, but
bad.
Dude, GTs, come on.
I want to catch GTs too, but Murray cod just remind me a lot of Steelhead, dude. The way those guys fish them, they're hunting them on the rivers.
Chase Heth.
They hit top water.
Dude. Okay, bank fishing Steelhead. Stop it. Just kidding.
If you guys want to see a badass fish, look up Murray cod.
Next week we're going to be going to
Australia. How long of a top shot are you guys normally running? I generally will run 8 feet, and I don't really find myself casting outside that, so that's just what I run.
Especially with a fixed float, I don't find myself casting much deeper than 8, 9 feet.
Oh, no, you're going to slide.
You don't want that knot going into the reel.
You want to talk about sliding?
So...
No?
Oh, no, yeah, I do. I was saying no to him.
The thing is you don't want that knot going into your reel every time. It's just a headache to be reeling your knot up into your reel.
Summers will come up and smash a jig 12 inches under a fix. 100%. And winters will that are hiding in broken, choppy water when the water's real low and clear and cold.
All right. Any other questions? Maybe I shouldn't
just kidding, dude. There's so many good ones, guys, and I understand. I see some of these guys like, I'm like, man, we're trying to keep the conversation kind of going, and we appreciate you guys, but
Dude, as soon as
Some
we
great
see
questions.
a comment, too, guys, like, you got to understand this thing scrolls so fast that we miss some.
I'm writing some good. I'm writing them down. Just yeah. Thank you.
The one thing too to remember is, I know we said it before, but if you want to make sure that we answer a comment, if there's something, just super chat it because it pulls it up right in our face. It's bright, and Clint will always pin the super chats. They stand out a lot more. So super chat us. We'd appreciate it
greatly.
Great.
What other questions you got? Are you gonna go over the sliding float?
I don't know. Let's go over the sliding float, and we'll see if you guys have some questions about the sliding float. This is the same. Here's kind of the difference between the two. Is obviously your float is going to slide up and down your line, but it's allowing you to add in a little bit of extra weight. You want to go to side cam, Clint? So I can just show them this real quick.
Serving up side cam.
Side cam serve.
It's Nick on side cam, so that's gotta be like Nick cam.
Oh yeah, they love that. All right, so
And as of right now, in my opinion, there ain't a better float than that one that's on there.
no, this thing's
Those guys that designed that float,
it's as good
as much as I want to say about them, they designed an amazing float.
It is a very good float.
Until ours comes out.
Yeah.
Until the addicted
Blah, blah,
slider.
blah.
Until the addicted
Ah.
sliding float. But that's a good. So again, if you're looking for a good float to start with, I really like those 3/8 ounce or half ounce. They're awesome.
They are very good. Even the 5/8 ounce, if you're fishing heavy stuff, I fish those as well. But so here's the deal. The only difference.
Connor just asked the good question. Can you use a bobber in a 30-foot hole? Connor, you want to pay attention to this next minute by Nick Popov.
Yes,
Sorry.
you can.
I bailed you out.
How deep was that hole?
I bailed you out while you made the rod fall on the
How deep was that hole that I got to get redemption on with you this year that we're fishing that I missed like 14 fish?
14 or so.
It ain't that deep. It's
Yes,
like
it is.
9.
No.
I'm bringing all this time. I'm gonna have my own gear. I'm gonna show you. What's
21.
up.
It's 21.
I do a little content. I felt pretty good about that. I think we need to go back there again.
Hey, I still caught some fish. I just didn't catch near as many as you guys did.
We might have another trip planned. You might have to get back in there. All right. Here's the deal, though, guys. This is how this works. So the only difference between your fixed float and your sliding float is depth, basically. So this is going to allow you to add a little bit of weight to this. So you always want to match your weight. So if you could see here, there's usually going to be some sort of weight marker on your bobber, whether it's 3/8 ounce, half ounce, quarter ounce, whatever it is. And then you're going to match your weight to it. So this is just an inline weight that's tied in. And this is still fishing the same way you would fish a fixed float. You're just going to be fishing it, and it's going to allow you to have that little bit of extra weight. It's definitely a little bit better for beginners, wouldn't you say, Cam?
Yeah, because you got a little bit of stick in the water.
Yes.
And
you got a little bit of
It's
weight.
easier to control your line and
stuff.
mend. Yeah.
Right, and when we talked about skirting the other bobber,
Yeah.
like, you just have that additional weight, so it will help keep it down to that distance at least. Like I said, you got a little extra weight on there, so you don't. So if you are learning, it's not a bad way to go.
And then it's going to allow you to fish deeper. So it's going to allow you to fish, if you're running a top shot on a fixed float that's only 8 feet deep, and how we were just talking about sliding our bobber up over the top of the knot that we tie between our braid and our mono. You don't have to do that with this because you just adjust your bobber stop up and down to whatever depth. So if I want to fish 6 feet, I just slide, 4, 5, 6 feet, fish that. If I want to fish at 30 feet, I could slide at 30 feet. And
there is some holes where you're fishing. I mean, there's a lot of rivers where you got to fish 15, 20 plus feet deep.
Yep.
There's some, I fished with a buddy of mine in a hole, and I could not believe how deep we were catching steelhead with a bobber and a jig on a little half ounce float. And dude, I think we were set at like 26, 27 feet deep. I mean, it was,
Oh my
it was
God.
wild.
Backyard.
No.
That's deep. That was at least 18.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, it's the cool thing is you can slide this to 2 or 3 feet or whatever the leader length is, but it's not going to get you into those shallow riffles like a fixed float would, because you can slide
anything deeper. I would say, like, if you wanted to just make a, not the always and never statement that we talked about on the podcast. If you want 3 feet and deeper,
yep,
you can fish the slide,
yep,
and go nuts.
Because otherwise, if you get, you got this big chunk of lead, if it's low clear water and you're fishing,
you don't necessarily want it, but
you don't necessarily want that lead slamming into their face. But I've also seen guys roll up into a hole where I've been fishing a fixed float and they catch one a 1 ounce bobber. So
Yeah. Well,
So one thing you said on there too, Nick, is you said to always match that weight. Now I do it a little differently, just because I know I'm gonna fish like a jig head, whether it be a 1/4 ounce or an 1/8 ounce. So a lot of times if I'm fishing like a 3/8 ounce float, I'll use a 1/4 ounce lead and then down to my either 1/8 or 1/4 ounce jig head to basically get the same. Because I've noticed if I match it with a 3/8 ounce and then I throw a jig head on there, it sinks it too much.
Yeah. So that is kind of what I meant by matching your weight, like just whatever your presentation is matched to that. So because
we got a couple super chats real quick, Nick. I didn't mean to cut you off, but Benny says Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, fish on 2021. Yeah, Benny.
Merry Christmas, Benny.
Chat,
Thank you.
And then we got one here from Sean. He says, got a new raft coming from Headwater Marine. Can't wait to slay some chrome. Badass, man.
That's awesome. They make some pretty cool stuff.
Well, are you going to take me or what?
Yo, what's up? Let's get in on that chrome shiny.
Yeah, right. Why are we taking my raft, Sean? We need to take yours. Do that.
All right, keep going, Nick. What were you got? What
was your top shot length then? So because it's fixed,
you don't need a top shot with a fix, or you mean with a?
Well, I mean, your leader or whatever then.
Yeah. So
leader.
You're not running an 8-foot one now when you're
correct. No. So with this, I standard run about 2.5, 3 feet, and you can.
Yeah, I'm always like this for my slides.
I run like middle of my chest, whatever that is, whatever the length of my arm is. Or sometimes if it's like a little bit clearer water and I'm still fishing deep holes, I will stretch it out to
that's why that's like it is right there.
Yeah.
So I went a little bit longer. I usually go about half that, but I did that just because we were fishing some super clear water.
I always like my theory on like fishing, a suspended thing is like I want my stuff that could spook the fish or scare them as far away from the fish as I can get it. So if it's a 16 or 17 foot hole, I might run a 5-foot leader, and just let my jig get down and do the work. But if it's 3 feet of water, I'm going to try to run as close to that to keep my lead up high. You know what I mean? Keep my main lead up as close to the surface as I can. So it just all depends on your depth and also the ability. The cool thing about fishing a sliding float is current. You can slow it down just a tad bit more in that current, and you're especially inexperienced.
I didn't know there was going to be so much math.
But
yeah, I hate math too.
Fixed float, screw it, you're fine.
Fixed float, go.
Yeah.
So it's all preference, But for an inexperienced fisherman or someone new to steelhead fishing, I always recommend start with a slide float, and then once you master the fixed float, you've got things dialed. I think is pretty
in the game. You're in the game.
You're in the game.
Then after that, you got to hunt them down.
Yeah, and then
make sure you get your presentations in front of them. But
right, and then it's finding water, reading water, but yeah. I would say like figuring out how to fish a float properly is super key to being successful. Just like Marlon said, that vertical float is. I mean, how many times do you see it just slightly tilted and the jig's not in the zone?
Yep.
Big difference.
Nope, you're scared. I can't tell you. I mean,
God, I love these.
Not to be a jerk or to sound arrogant. I can't tell you how many times I've been on the raft and I've watched like clients like go through because I'm like, no, you got to dump the line. You got to, you're not mending right. Work through. I mean, to where it's like I can tell they're getting bored and they're like, like give me one cast.
Yeah, got one.
Got one. It's like it really is that important. Right. I'm just trying to stress that. So
3 packs of marbles and 2 red lines a day.
Send it.
Send it, bro. That's about day 10 into buoy 10. That's like day 10 into buoy 10.
Yeah, right? That's like 6 red lines.
You gotta crawl before you walk.
6 packs of marbles.
Gotta crawl. You gotta get big time up here, buddy. Oh gosh.
I can go for a marble red right now.
Yeah, what about that hatchery money and the new relief bill? Yeah, I heard the little blurb on that.
I saw that. That was crazy.
I was like, oh, cool.
Well, I didn't care about that one, but
yeah. I don't know, but we're not going to get into politics. But at that point,
way to go.
Yeah, no, sign it. Just kidding.
It's probably like some trout. It's probably like gendering trout or something crazy.
Yeah, or like mating trout. I couldn't remember.
Mating some trout in the lake.
Oh boy.
We all got excited about a hatchery and has
nothing to do with
our hatcheries.
Right. Federal hatcheries.
I saw a bunch of stuff like the Midwest guys deal with a lot of the same stuff. It sounds like in certain areas for sure. Like they get attacked constantly from all sorts of angles. Normally environmental stuff like their ecosystems getting changed by like big corporations being allowed to like dump pollution and just do stuff like that. It just ruins the fisheries.
See, but I think that there's like, I mean, I can understand that, but when you have people coming out and filing lawsuits,
yeah, it's crazy
on a sport industry,
Well, right.
or
I mean, and
yet
these same wild fish groups
damn it,
that are all doing that are just completely silent on the fact that like brown trout aren't like
right
native to Montana and they just don't care. They want them to be everywhere.
Oh yeah,
it's just weird. It's just weird to me.
Backwards.
Maybe we should start working on that.
Procure needs
I mean, they're non-native. I mean, they're non-native. They're non-native.
We should. We can. The Popov scent. The Popov scent
Oh,
can be called nicotine.
Nicotine.
Dude, I'm not kidding, dude.
Oh.
So do I.
What causes the floats to not slide on the bumper line, Alexander? There's 2 rubber tubings that hold it tight to the stem, and they add tension there. And it takes a little, like if you saw, like I kind of wetted the line a little bit before I slid them, just because it. You're gonna do side cam. Just because
there's like no
it
line
does
on
pull
there.
tight.
There's like no line.
But you can see the tubing.
So your line would be up above the top of the float there, but there's these little pieces of black tubing here and here, and you basically want to wet the stem first, slide that tubing over, and you're fishing, and then you can adjust your depth from there.
Fish all day, first time steelhead fishing. What do you recommend? I recommend you go back to the start of the live feed and watch this.
Yes, we give you.
And go onto the YouTube channel and check out the very, very, very many tutorials.
Yeah, if you guys ever want to just get up to date, we have so many steelhead tutorials coming, are already on the channel. We have a bunch more coming. If you just go, there's a playlist just steelhead fishing.
Right, Mark? Right?
On there, so make sure you check it out.
This guy knows what I'm doing now. Right, Mark? Well, maybe we should tell those wild fish people. Go focus on that.
I thought you were about to say something.
Maybe we should tell these people to go.
Yeah. That too. Oh, wait.
So Cody says, why the line through the hole in the float? So we did the line through the hole because a lot of times what will happen is after using the float for long periods of time, your top and your bottom surgical tube will break. And what used to happen is you'd like set the hook, and then before you know it, your float would go flying one way, and you just lose your float. It would just go flying out in the water. That used to happen forever with fills.
What would happen is when one broke, you'd think it's like, well, did they break at the same time? But when one broke, it allowed the other one to like pop off a lot easier.
Yeah.
Like once you lost one. So once you lost one of those tubes, you were done. And truth be told, like we put a very durable surgical tubing on them, but
they still break.
But they still will break. I mean, you're fishing super cold temps. I mean, like you will wear them out. Like, I mean,
dude, it's surgical tubing.
But it's right. But I mean, it's like you're talking like 10, 12 hard fishing trips before you even are even thinking that.
Yeah, no. So what happens is if it breaks and you got your line through, it's going to keep it on the line. It keeps it. You don't lose your float. You just reel back in, put a new piece of surgical tube on, you're fishing. So that was kind of the reason. We didn't actually come up with that. One of Cameron's friends, Forrest, came up with that. I remember the day he showed me. He's like, "Why don't you just do this like with a worm?"
My mind was blown.
And I was like,
he took a worm threader.
Yeah, worm threader.
And he like drilled it through, and I was like, "Dude, that is."
I'm like, "Oh my god, that's so smart."
Smart.
And we started doing it to all of our floats back then, and then when we designed the new floats, we came up with a similar concept. So
yeah, it's like the smartest thing.
Shout out to Forrest. We got a super chat. She says, "Merry Christmas." Can this super chat go towards Jordan getting a haircut? I'll try, but I doubt it. But thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. What?
I was just saying, the other new thing you added was the O-ring. So when you do lose that, now you don't lose your weights, right? So
There's also an O-ring on there that holds your 2 weights on there when you have your 2 weights as well that we added on top of the surgical tube.
I'm going to pull this surgical tubing down just a little.
Have you ever caught steelhead on a streamer?
Can you see that little O-ring right there?
Yeah, so that holds you. So if for some reason your bottom surgical tubing breaks, you don't lose your weights.
Yeah.
So it keeps it all.
Yes, and you can get, Ryan Gibson, you can get replacement weights on our website. We have like addicted accessory kits that come with like extra weights, O-rings, and surgical tubings.
Thoughts on using frozen shrimp like we do here in Michigan? Man, we don't do that at all here.
We use a lot of frozen shrimp out here, buddy.
Never mind.
Yeah, man, it works really good. That's cool to hear you guys also use it in Michigan.
Yeah. I mean, one of the most versatile baits you can pick up at Safeway.
Yeah, shrimp works really good, but we don't talk about that.
No.
Check your regulations.
Why, when I set the hook, does the float slide down the line? Yeah, Hollenbach, if you really rip it hard, it'll do that. And also, like, when Marlin, and it makes me cringe every freaking time he does it. If he's, like, fishing and he casts out and it's a little too deep, instead of just, like, not reeling in the last 10 feet, lifting the rod up and then sliding it down, he'll just like reel the bobber right into the tip of his rod and then like pull on it. And just every time I see that, and he's like, "Oh, no, the top eye pops out."
I never said that. I don't have any top eyes pop out.
Every time I've ever done that, I lose the. I'll break the ceramic in the top eye.
I just have to look at the top ceramic on any of my rods.
Right.
Guys reel.
Right. I guess I'm not. Exactly. I'm not pro. But I tell you, yeah. So there is a point where if you're setting the hook hard, every now and then, if I give just a big whippy, I mean a ripping cast, like with maybe something a little bigger, like a 1/4 ounce, yeah. But I feel like
a lot of guys do too is you got to remember, like if you're using 8-pound test or 6-pound test, it's a lot thinner diameter going through this rubber tubing, too, yeah. And it's wet and obviously it slides easier on rubber. So it all depends, what type of line and stuff you're using as well.
Yeah. Well, I think we need to get one more little giveaway going and then start kind of working our way out of here. It's almost 9 o'clock, boys.
Oh, hey.
Nick's got a long drive.
Are you talking? Were you talking, Alexander? Maybe you're talking the bobber stops from sliding. Oh, sorry. Maybe that's what he was talking about. I mean,
yeah, the bobber stops do slide. There's nothing you really do about it. Like,
don't use rubber ones. You got to really cinch them down, dude. If you cinch them hard on braid, they stay. But you got to
I love this guy. Marlon loves the rubber egg ones. I like the string ones, but you got to get the right diameter.
Yeah. Oh, if you
get the thick ones, they are garbage, and they will kill your every cast.
Oh, dude.
It's terrible, and I bought them wrong one time, and it's like, okay, I can tell. Oh God, it's terrible.
I'll do it for you.
Oh, that's how I felt after that. I actually stopped fishing, pulled over to the side, and I know what we were dragging. So I'm like, that's it. I'm just like fishing this on like screw it 12-foot bumpers and just ran them out. And it was it was like the worst. It was literally the worst guide trip of like
the rubber ones. You gotta get the right ones.
Yeah, it was the worst guide trip I did this year, and it was because that just set it off.
It was
Oh, and Clint was there, so
I had a blast.
Needless to say, that was terrible because Clint was there.
All right, boys and girls, we are going to give away a Gerber processor. This thing's pretty cool. I wish I had. Oh, I do have one. Nick, show these guys what this thing does.
All right, Clint Laurie, winner. Already picked it.
So, Wes, thank you for the super chat. Cheers from Michigan. I'll bring the bells two-hearted for the crew when you are here. What's that, a drink? Bells two-hearted? I don't know. Got my first Steely Monday. Thanks for getting me in the game. Congratulations, Wes. Yeah. Thank you for the super chat, too, bud. Give away the real Marlin. Well, there wasn't 1,000 viewers, so that was a non-issue.
Can't do it, bud.
We would have done it. We totally would have done it.
No, we wouldn't have.
I would have stole it and shipped it myself.
We would have given away one of Cam's somehow. We would have taken one off one of his rods and given it to you. But we're going to give away a Gerber processor before the night's over.
We will give
away. If you guys didn't know either, a lot of you guys, I was getting tons of messages asking for discounts to Gerber's website. So I finally was able to get them to activate an addicted discount code. This isn't any sort of affiliate code or anything. It just helps you guys get a percentage off on Gerber's website. So if you guys want to use the code, it's addicted, I think. I think I have it in the description of the video, Clint. Don't I?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's 20% off on Gerber's website. Anything on their website, use the code addicted. And if you use it, it is going to help us because it's going to show Gerber that all you guys out there are supporting the Addicted brand and supporting Gerber. So 20% off. You guys can get the scissors that we always like to say
are going to change your life in the world, period.
Change your life. I got called out a couple weeks ago on an episode, on the crappie episode, because there was a split shot, and I was trying to cinch the split shot down, and I didn't even. Yeah. I think I knew this about these scissors, but at the time I was just using them how I normally use them, and I cinched it down. And then someone called me out and was like, in the comments, they're like, there's a split shot thing on the back of that, right? And sure as shit, Gerber,
there's a little crimp on the
back.
There's
a little crimp on the back of the scissors that I didn't.
What a loser. I didn't know that until right now. Oh, my God. My teeth.
Exactly. Anyway, huge shout out to Gerber. They're one of our partners. They've been supporting us for a long time. So
they make amazing
things. Dude, everything. Their products are really amazing. They make some quality stuff. So check it out.
Read the box before you open it.
Use the code addicted.
Do you think anybody does that?
That was the code, right?
Sorry, Clint.
That was the code, right?
Addicted. Yep. And all the discount codes are in there.
Yep. In the link in the description, you guys can see the code. Use it. Go buy some Gerber stuff.
That's an awesome discount.
And let's just pick someone from the comments, Clint, randomly. Anyone. I don't care.
Hold on, are we going to
Randomly
side cam to show them what this does or what?
Oh, yeah, side cam. Show them what the processor does.
And
We got the
still
eggs.
got all the photos too.
Oh, and we'll do some photos before
these
we
process. These are the tool here, but they're a little dirty. Sorry, we cut eggs with them.
There's a knife.
Pretty cool. You got to be careful of this bottom edge here. This is a knife, and I'll show you why here in just a second. But you got your scissors, got a little saw-like blade, and then this actually rotates off, and this knife becomes like a bait knife
or gut knife
Or
or
whatever,
gut knife or whatever you want to use it for. So, and then it's also got the little like
Gut
skin
hook.
Yeah, so it has a gut hook, a built-in scaler, cutting shears, a fin clipper, a fine edge cutting blade, and that's it. Ergonomic
That's the
handle,
scaler.
hydrated grip,
Not a
engineered for
saw.
traction and raised sections.
This is
Channel
soft
moisture
ones
away,
with it.
unsurpassed grips, and easy to clean. Do I sound like an
You can find that
infomercial?
on Gerber.
You can find more at GerberFishing.com. Be sure to use the code addicted.
And Alexander, if your float's not sliding up to your bobber stop, you need to add more weight. You need maybe to get a different float, or there might be grooves that are cut into the sides of the bobber. You need to like go through that and really investigate and look like where the line is entering and exiting the bobber. Make sure there's no like little grooves cut. And then if that's not it, then you probably need to add more weight, or you need to find a bobber with a larger diameter hole. But yeah, you might just kind of get in there and investigate that, because yeah, I mean when you cast out the sliding boat, it should just.
Well, and a lot of times on those stems of those sliding floats, depending on what manufacturer it is, when you set the hook, your braided line will cut grooves into there, like Cam was saying. Also, if you're running a corky on the top of that, sometimes the corky will get a cut into it and get hung up in there as well.
Cool. Well, you guys got any? We can let a couple last minute questions come in here. If you guys got a couple more questions before we leave you for the night, and then we're gonna wish you guys a Merry Christmas.
Do some pictures.
Nick, hook up the giveaway.
Yeah, we're gonna
Did,
throw some
Ross.
pictures up here as well. Share some of them.
Go home.
We got. Ooh, he's wearing an addicted beanie. I love it.
And
No
then-
name.
No name.
Leave them up there longer, dude. Come on, give these guys their freaking moment of fame. Get it
Go
back up.
home.
Another addicted
Big
hoodie.
buck.
Look at that.
Dude, that's a stud.
Look at that. Look at the size of that mouth compared to that like size 5 spinner. That's a big ass.
Nice fish, man. Appreciate you buying the merch.
Yeah.
Go back to the first dude. That's also a
That's
really
another
nice
big
fish.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a super nice
Both
fish.
nice ones.
And appreciate you rocking the addicted beanie, man. Appreciate it.
And the
Oh, he's got a jacket on too,
jacket
huh?
too, yeah. Sweet.
Oh,
those look like.
yes. Who's this?
Couple nice Chinookies.
Jerry.
What's up, Jerry? Thanks for sending in the picture, man. Got a
Those
couple
kinda
fatties.
look
What are those? They do look. They
Yeah,
look purple
they
backs.
look pretty. You know that picture would be perfect. There's that damn leaf right on it. Just kidding. Nice
What's
fish,
up,
man.
Hauling Back Outdoors?
Yes,
Thanks for
nice
sending in your
fish.
picture, man.
That thing is a chunk.
Looks like he's got an Instagram or something. You guys could check out at Hauling Back Outdoors.
Yeah,
Maybe
they
you can find some
frickin'
more pictures. But that's a fatty.
Chunky. Look at when the stomach's all like sucked in around the hand. Like you
Mhm.
know it's a fatty. Didn't
Oh,
miss
yeah.
any meals. Oinker.
What else we
Similar
got?
to myself.
Looks like this
I
one's
just put
from
my hand
Jesse.
around your belly.
Yeah,
It just sinks in.
Jesse.
Jesse, nice fish, dude.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Badass.
Way to
buddy.
go,
Good
buddy.
job, dude.
Who else
That's
we
a
got
good
tonight?
one. Oh, there's another
Yeah.
good one.
There we go.
Yes, I love seeing all the kids. Thanks for sending it in, guys. We got
Oh,
Ryan
nice
right here
salmon.
with a nice salmon.
What bridge is that? I need to. Will you please
Close
GPS?
the river, please.
Yeah, please tell me where that's at, because that's a beautiful fish, and I want to catch one.
And then
Lucas.
here's
Yeah.
with
Guess
the
with
trout.
trout point.
with the trout. I love it. Thanks for sending that in, Lucas.
With the Marlin point.
Keep smashing, man.
That's a stud trout.
We got one from Sean coming up here. Sturgeon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Some sturge action
Some
with Cam.
guy being a goofball in the back.
Why
That was
does
a
it think- I was
cold,
gonna say,
miserable
look, that
day.
sturgeon looks really yellow.
I probably had the top on, so it's kind of like darker
Oh.
or something. I don't know.
He
Cool
definitely
looking
has a top
fish.
one.
Sturgeon are just cool.
They are cool. We're gonna catch a lot of them next week. Excited.
Oh my
damn.
That
goodness.
is not a little walleye.
That is a freaking tank.
Dude, that's big.
Thomas with the tank walleye, dude. If you're watching, how much did that thing weigh? That thing's
That's a
freaking
12.
beast. Look at the
That's a
head.
That's
That's
at
a
least
12.
12.
At
dude.
least 12. Look at that fin.
Dude, the head on that thing is massive.
Yeah, it's a massive head.
Look at that. You don't feel
It's probably not even a walleye. It's like a
I know. It's like a wild
Subspecies.
grouper out in
Yeah.
Australia. Don't be trying to trick us.
nice
bro.
fish, Thomas. And then here we go with
Ooh,
another salmon
sake.
from Tori.
Where is that? Look at
That's in
those
Alaska.
trees.
I don't
That
know,
is
but
something pretty. Yeah.
The scenery looks amazing.
That ain't Oregon.
Cool.
Looks like Lake Merwin.
Oh, it might be. God, that ain't Oregon.
It's just
Everyone's gonna be there to catch those. I wouldn't blame them.
Could be Chelan.
Me too.
Lake Chelan. Don't they have those there?
I don't. Not that.
Not that big, dude.
Not those trees. Look at those trees. Those are Alaskan
That's Alaska.
trees.
That's a
That
nice
might
fish.
be.
That's awesome fish.
He says a couple guys says 40 in the comments.
40. That's it.
Thank
All right,
you.
guys. Well, thanks for sending those pictures in. If you guys want an opportunity to be featured or get your picture featured on any of our shows, just shoot us an email to orders@addicted.fishing. Make sure you just attach the picture and then let us know who the name is of you want us to feature. And if you want us to say something like happy birthday or whatever, make sure you put that in the comments because we've had a couple of those requests before.
Someone else you need to give a shout out to. Hang on.
One more shout out, and then we're going to pick the Gerber processor. We're going to pick the
Merry
processor winner.
Christmas to you too.
Yeah, and Merry Christmas to everyone. Before we leave, Nick, you got any trips available? These guys need to call you, or are you booked out?
I am booked up for winter steelhead. So, but I am booking spring Chinook trips all throughout April, May, June.
There was some
then
good
some
looking stuff
July.
in that forecast.
Yeah.
There was
No,
some
I'm-
really good looking stuff in that
I'm
forecast.
excited. You know, I think we're going to start to see an uptick in our runs and our returns, and I think it's going to get back to some good fishing. So get out there, guys. There's no better time than now. If you want to get on a cancellation list or something like that for steelhead, you can. I think I might have one day in January.
I'll take it.
You already got a couple.
I don't care. I want more.
All right. Sold.
And now you
Mine.
don't have it.
Yeah, I'll take it. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, our-
But call them for spring Chinook.
Spring Chinook, guys. Get out there. It's going to be fun. I think we're
Yeah.
going to have some fish this year. And it was, I mean, it's good. We catch fish every year. It's just a matter of like.
Not last year. Well, for Columbia, I should say. We did good
I don't
elsewhere.
think yeah. That's what I mean. It's
Nick's
crazy.
over there like, what are you talking about, dude? I catch springers every year. Multiple.
We had our good days last
Oh,
year.
yeah. No. That was
You know what happens is, here's what frustrates me about springers on the Columbia, is we get an okay start, and then the water gets raised, and we fight high water, and it kills our fishing, and we get
You're looking at me, but he just literally started it out with, we get an okay start, which means there is days in there every single year that you guys catch springers
That we
in the
get an
Columbia and
okay
do good.
start.
Yeah. And
We filmed on a few.
Who out there thinks we should do an addicted spring Chinook tournament that Cam is fighting me on and pushing back and doesn't think we should do it, but I really want to do one? Who thinks we
Not
should do
that I
that?
don't
And
think
would
we
you
should
guys
do it.
enter? Because he doesn't think anyone would enter it.
Would you rather if you?
No,
only were
that's
gonna-
not the question. Because they're going to do multiple. We're not just doing one. I can guarantee you that.
Okay, well then that changes everything that I said to you when we talked about these.
Let's see how many people says yes.
Well,
There's already multiple yeses
okay,
coming in.
you answer this question, Mr. Nick Popov Fisherman.
There's no.
I'm asking something separate.
You're
Shut
using
up.
a few thought
Shut
argument
up.
that no one cares about.
If you were only going to do one tournament next year,
No one argued this.
what between?
would you do a spring Chinook one on the Columbia River, or would you do one for fall Chinook on Labor Day?
It's a no-brainer.
Well, that's a no-brainer.
No one said anything about that. It's
If
just
we're only doing one.
you,
we're gonna do
Nick. You know
multiple.
how I am, dude. When I do something, I try to do it big. Like when I came to you guys and I'm like, let's go make a movie in Alaska. Everyone was like, you're crazy. There's no way we're gonna be able to do that.
I don't think you.
And within
You're gonna
6
do
months, I
something-
made a
okay,
movie, had a
answer this.
premiere, had 600 people show up at the theater.
Right.
And so when I went to Cam, I
So-
said, hey, let's just do like a
Would more
three-circuit
people-
tournament
if
where we
we-
do a Springer, a fall, and an Astoria, and we do like 3 circuits, and we do it a point system. Like I was trying to do it big, and he's like, we can't do that. Just instantly, without even thinking about it.
No, that's
We need
not-
to do Labor Day on the
That's the
5th.
dad hat, dude. Take the dad hat off.
I said, first off, you're not going to get permitting for that, so go ahead and try. Second off, I said more people
I think we could.
would do the fall Labor Day one because everyone's doing it anyways.
Right.
Versus a spring one where you have a lot of volatility in the conditions.
Yeah.
That's all I said.
Yeah.
Like it's not as consistent
I think
as
you
we
would
love
have
it.
to
And
do.
some years it's awesome, but when we have high waters,
but
and
could
then we have
do,
the smolt release,
hold on, I
and then
got
we
one
have
idea.
the seasons
ways
that
to
the
do it.
seasons get whacked sometimes.
But what about
early.
This? What about if we did, instead of doing a tournament one day, you do like a Springer derby style?
Yeah, I
Where
mean, there's
people buy, you still get involved in the
Dude, I
tournament.
don't have time to read that right now. But that's the things like
Constant
a book.
emails.
Okay, so you told me to remind you to give a shout out to this guy.
okay.
It's from Alex Heft, and he's writing it for
Oh,
his.
I remember now.
Okay.
I remember. That's all you had to say.
Oh wait, Marlon's never wrong, so shut the hell up.
If you would have just,
You would've
said,
just said it
remember
right,
the
bro.
shout out I told you to give. Or you were supposed to give?
That's what I said.
Clint, do your damn job.
Oh shit!
Gosh, Clint.
God,
Frick.
you suck at your job.
Gosh,
bro.
Clint, new producer, please. I can't take it anymore.
All I was trying to say, guys, me and Cam, we like to butt heads a lot with stuff because I always have these big aspirations and dreams, and Cameron's always trying to bring me down.
All right, for the record,
Yeah, you guys. This is
I've
why
put
I
up with your
love
crap
hanging
for
out
like
here.
6 years. I think I'm the only one who can say I've put up with your crap for 6 years. So there we
That
go.
ain't true.
Oh God! At this level, it is.
Didn't you get a trophy?
I should give me a trophy.
Well,
my
if you win-
my
hey,
participation
if you win the
award.
Springer Derby, you'll get a trophy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'll win it too. I'll kick your ass,
You
buddy.
probably will.
Ooh, let's see it. See, that's what I love about wanting to do a tournament.
Oh, dude.
And I'm gonna get prizes. I'm gonna get a
Hey,
$25,000 bag for the winner.
Okay.
I'm serious, dude. I want to do this big.
I know people don't. People think they hear this, and when Marlon says it, I just go, "Yep," because I've seen it happen.
All right,
I
these
love
guys.
it.
Look at everyone in the comments like Gerber. Give me the Gerber. Why are you guys still
Oh yeah,
talking?
we forgot to pick someone. we were getting.
Sorry, guys.
carried away.
We went on a couple more rants, even though we said
Yeah.
we weren't going to.
We said we were
Cam,
done.
do us a favor. Keep the hat on. It's stressful in here, bud. I'm gonna look like this.
Yeah.
Like keep
It's
hanging
no
out.
time, dude. There's a reason my hat stays on.
No, my too. Look at this.
Crawdad Derby.
I got no hair
Derby
left.
with
I
Jordan.
lost my
I'll
hair a
use
long
that one
time
all
ago.
day long.
No
Jordan will
one's
get me
doing
on that
a
one.
Crawdad
Yeah,
Derby with
Jordan
Jordan.
will get me on that one for
You see
sure.
that guy go skin diving?
Yeah,
and
like,
harpooning
oh,
them
it's
and
cold.
stuff?
Screw that.
That video
I'm a
was really
wuss.
cool.
It was cool.
It's cold.
It looked like it was really cold.
All right, let's do it. Pick a winner, Clint.
Okay.
Pick a winner.
Come on,
Pick a winner.
do it.
Who's going to win the Gerber processor? And don't forget, if you don't win, you can always go over to Gerber's website and get 20% off.
Bank versus Bo.
Little
Summer.
Wig 111.
What did he say
He just
earlier?
won again. He won the first giveaway. He just won 2 in a row. That's unbelievable. Little Wig 111.
He did. He won. He said my boat. That's
Yeah.
why I know that.
Yeah, he
Oh
won
my
the first
God.
giveaway. So Little
No
Wig.
way.
Yeah, he won. Little Wig 111. You won another prize pack. Sorry, everyone out there. It's a random drawing. He
That's
got-
crazy,
he
dude.
got
There's
lucky.
like thousands of comments.
Here you go.
Thousands.
You won. I don't even know who Little Wig 111 is, but he just won another one, and he says boat versus Bank Summer. He won.
That's unreal.
God.
That's I'm like, wait, I've seen that up here
Are
today.
you sure that's the first?
It was, dude.
It was
because
he said
boat.
my
He
boat,
said
and he
Cam's
didn't
boat.
even like. I mean,
All
It wasn't
right.
even the right
since
answer.
since the randomizer sucks, we're gonna give away these worms. But here's the problem, guys.
Oh my God.
These are limited edition. I think, Clint, isn't there supposed to be 10 worms in the pack?
Eight.
Eight?
I think.
Okay, so you're gonna get a pack of Backwards Nightmare that's missing 3 worms.
oh
It is
come
real.
on.
These are limited. These are literally out of my Steelhead bag. Like I just took them out.
Okay, but aren't we getting another batch of them at the store? If they're not sold out right now, just tell Mike to hold 2 bags.
I know, but I wanted to give. Oh, that's true. I could just not give them away.
Right. You could you could give them away tonight.
What if they're sold out?
That's what I was gonna say. If they're not, well,
I'll take 2 out, right? I'll take them out.
take
right
one out of each right now, Clint. There we go, because they probably will sell out.
Fire Clint.
I love it. Fire Clint. That's
Okay.
Hashtag Fire Clint.
Cam was right again on this one right here. This thing. Do you guys hear me? I do admit a lot when Cam's right.
now. It's only because Popov here.
Yeah.
So,
I'm the mediator.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna give away 1 pack of the Backwards Nightmare and 1 pack of the Guaranteed Worms. We're gonna use the randomizer again right now and pick someone. Who is it gonna be, Clint?
So yes, you're not gonna get some.
I think one
half-ass
night,
bag of worms.
one night, you and I just need to sit in here with some very strong beverages and just fight all night.
Why? We don't need strong beverages.
That's true. We don't
for
need that either.
There we
That's a
go.
good point.
David
Yeah.
Cummings. David Cummings, you won a pack of
He said
Backwards
worms for me.
Nightmare
There we go.
and a
Okay.
pack of Guaranteed.
Little Wig wins again.
Shoot us an email to
No,
orders.
wait, one.
Shoot us an email to orders@addicted.fishing. Make sure you include your name, your address. Let us know that you want
Good
a
job.
pack of each of the new worms, which are on our website right now, limited edition. Once these things are gone, they will not be available. So you will be one of the only anglers in the Northwest fishing these worms on the rivers,
Yeah.
or the Midwest, or wherever you live. And I got
Or
to
catch a bass with them if you're in California or something. I don't know.
Whatever you want to do with
Or
them.
Texas.
Or just hang on your wall.
But actually,
How
kind
you-
of cool.
I took
What?
it out of
Pronounce that.
inventory. He will get a full pack.
Bill Zaley? Zaley?
Yeah, maybe the S is silent.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm going for.
can't believe you asked me that.
All right. So, before we leave, we want to give a huge shout out to Bill Zale. Bill Zale, it sounds like you tune in every single week and you watch our live feeds. I don't know if you comment much, but we really, really appreciate you tuning in every single week, watching our live feeds. It means a lot to us that you would spend your Wednesdays hanging out with us every single week. So thanks again, Bill Zale, for watching our live feeds and tuning in every week. We appreciate it. Shout out to you.
Much, Bill.
Yep. Shout out, Bill.
And again, if you guys want us to do that, we can do a few of those every single week. If you guys have birthdays you want us to say, or your kids are huge fans of us and just love watching every single week, shoot us an email. We'd love to be able to give some shout outs, but include a picture or two, because we want to be able to share the pictures that you guys are out having success watching our videos and doing all that. So orders at addicted.fishing. And I think that's all we got. Yeah.
We got it.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. Thanks again.
Out, guys.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry
Sorry for the
Christmas.
shit show tonight. It definitely was one of those. I dropped an F-bomb, dropped a couple
No, he
cuss
didn't.
words.
No, he didn't.
But, you know, sometimes it happens here on
Hey,
Addicted
we're all
Fishing.
human.
That's the beauty of us not being on a network. We're not. We can kind of do whatever we want.
I would have to be on HBO.
Yeah.
Because they ain't
Oh.
my boat ain't.
HBO, never mind.
All right, guys.
Later, guys.
We'll see you on the river.
Okay.